And that's the start.
Oh, hello, everyone. If there are any weird noises coming in through my end of the audio, it is because there is a stinky pig dog wandering about, hopefully not peeing on me today. But he's going to do what he wants to do. What's up with you, man?
All right. I don't want to do the usual start of podcast energy complaint. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I've seen enough people getting tired of that, so we'll just
You know what I'm tired of?
Mm-hmm.
Being tired. Hey,
Yep.
that's why I'm going to chug this purple.
I'm on my second.
Fucking sick.
But I've also got a big water. Big water for the waters. Compelling conversation. I've been drinking
Oh, it's sick.
a fuck ton of water recently.
Mm-hmm. Did you find a new enjoyment of the sensation of pee?
So the pipe system in my building has had to go through some stuff, so they shut down the water. And as a result, when they did shut down the water, we had to go get a bunch of bottles and fill them up in preparation. And then, so fridge full of water bottles, I've been just taking them and going through them, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I should keep this up. So I've been keeping it up.
I genuinely thought you were going to say the pipes in your body need flushing.
That's not what I meant. No, I meant the pipes in the building, and then that led to a reason to stock water, and then suddenly I went through the water, and now I'm drinking, like at least 2 liters.
There was a moment way back in like February where there was a conversation about stockpiling water due to the possible collapse of society.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, we'll see it coming. Like, like it's not gonna fucking collapse overnight. Like we'll have like a week to get water. And then it didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I feel like everyone collectively is like playing touch bases with the end, where you're kind of like you still want to keep your finger on the tree for as long as possible, and wait until the absolute last second before you let go to run over to the next spot. But yeah, I assume a lot will go wrong before the water stops entirely and permanently. There's a lot of warning signs that kick in when the before the water stops entirely. So I think you can kind of put that one.
We'll probably have like some kind of disease and then like rampant civil unrest first.
I mean, yeah, like you're not gonna have the water stop, but your electricity is fine.
Yeah.
Or your internet is fine.
Yeah, because like when they use the pumps to push the water through the pipes with the electricity. I don't know how pipes work. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with everyone. I don't know how pipes work.
That's a career path that you can choose to learn how they work. But if BioShock taught me anything,
look that up right now,
it's that I learned from BioShock that you put a few corners and a couple of straight things, and then the water gets from the big place to the small place to your mouth. But all the utilities would be broken before we'd get the water.
So I just in my meme joke of how do pipes work into Google, I have discovered that our society is doomed, Wooly. Because Google's answer to how do pipes work responds with, a pipe is a form of redirection, transfer of standard output to some other destination that is used in Linux and other Unix-like operating systems to send the output of one blah, 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 blah.
Damn.
And it's like, no, pipes.
Yeah.
These are all Unix, and there's one weed one.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I had to I was doing some stuff this weekend that involved getting into Python a little bit. And
What the hell, dude?
yeah, and it's like that word is completely co-opted. No one talks about the snake anymore.
Don't get into Python. There, you'll
Too
be
late.
digested. Thank you, everyone. Thank
Well,
you.
Oh, there it is.
I did it.
There it is. Yeah.
It's your snake vor joke of the day.
I mean, even if you're talking about the code, you still don't really want to get into it. It's very difficult.
The code will digest you.
It's hard understanding all that.
Yeah,
it's basically
there's certain
magic.
words. Yeah, there's certain words that I hear that make me like sit up straight and become worried. Words like Python, Maya, Autodesk.
Oh, that stuff's not bad. Autodesk, Maya, 3D Studio Max.
Yeah, but I don't know
Lightroom.
how to make anything. They're all the same to me.
Yeah, no. For me, it's the languages, like assembly, fucking.
Getting my C++
C++.
cert.
That's when you get. Or you know what? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Linux just adds a little tingle to my spine. Just the word Linux kind of makes me.
Is
go,
that good or bad tingle?
Not a good one because I wouldn't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I installed an Ubuntu partition once
Yep.
because everybody was like, "Man, Ubuntu's just next level. It's going to be the future of computing." I'm like, "Fuck it, I'll install an Ubuntu partition." I spent 5 hours trying to install my video card drivers to get my resolution to go higher, and I couldn't do it because I downloaded the driver and I double clicked on it and it didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think if I were to ever go down that route, I would spend most of my time setting it up to resemble Windows, which would then just defeat the entire purpose. And
I guess it would.
Things like Winux came around and all those hybrid things, but I'm just like, am I really going to dress up another thing as the thing that I have my comfort and safety in?
I'm so fucking sick of lemonade. Now let me have this lime juice that I pour a lemon into.
Basically.
Totally not lemonade.
Yeah. With the exception, I will say, of course, of like, there's iOS you get used to as well. But there's definitely little hang-ups every like 10 minutes or so. Little hang-ups of like, what the fuck? What's going on there?
I would say that iOS has a special power to it that it makes people forget how to use other OSs. I know someone who uses almost exclusively iOS devices, usually iOS phone devices, and I am frequently asked, "How do I open this?" And I went, "You do it on your computer." And they go, "What?"
Yeah.
True story.
No. But anyway, the Python occurs, water occurs.
Well, you sound exhausted.
I am, yeah. You catch some laser eyes there?
A little bit of laser eyes. Yeah, a little bit. But what was I gonna say? Does this happen to you? Last night I went to bed at 1 a.m. It's a little late, but it's not like crazy late. That's pretty early for people like us usually, actually. And I was like, I'm sleepy. It's 1 a.m. I'm going to go to sleep, and then I'll wake up around 9 or 10 a.m., and then that'll be a good, adult, sleep period, right? And then I woke up at 3:20. And I was like, fuck. And then I couldn't sleep till like 7, 8 in the morning.
That hasn't happened in a minute. That happens?
Okay,
Wait, no, that's not true. That happens way earlier on, specifically today, right? On podcast day. What happens is like I end up basically having, because of the offset, I end up having a weird mini nap, and then my later proper sleep nap gets all fucked up. Because of the whatever the way the rest of the day goes. So podcast days get fucked up. Definitely.
Yeah. It's stupid. I've learned to never go to bed early. Never try to improve your life with sleep.
Never try to improve your life, period.
Always just force the most procrastination-based solution to your problem right now. Because you'll get to enjoy it right now.
And then don't forget to complain when your body stops listening to you.
Oh, man. Hard drive, what was it? It's like gamer who hasn't had a single glass of water in a full week complains that 30 FPS makes him nauseous. Like, okay. All right, I'll take that one. Shut up. Shut up, hard drive. I don't like this. Oh, man.
So another slow news week, so to speak.
Which is stupid, because there was a giant event.
Sitting here looking at fucking 15 plus trailers over here.
And they're all very good.
Well, how about this? Prior to ONL, what have you been up to?
Let's see. I played. Did you play Control? I feel like you did.
Yes.
Did you beat Control?
No.
Okay, so Control's DLC came out a while ago, the Foundation, and then the new DLC came out called AWE, which is the Alan Wake tie-in DLC. And I had not played the Foundation, so I played Foundation last week, and the best thing that I can say about it is that it's more Control. Like, if you wanted Control to be 2 hours longer, it is. And it's just as good as the middle part of Control. You know what I mean? Like, it's just... It's like, just pretend you live in a world in which Control had 2 more levels.
Okay.
However, AWE, everybody is telling me, is the hotness. And I'm worried that it's just good because everybody misses Alan Wake. And I mean the character. I don't mean the gameplay, actually. I really like Alan Wake. I think Alan Wake's a cool guy. And he kind of gets fucked over in his own game. So I would like to see Alan get out of the nightmare. That'd be cool.
More Control.
The bosses in Control remain terrible. Like, just awful. Other than that, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Let's see. Did I play anything other than Control and Final Fantasy XIV? No. You know what I did do? I decided to embark on the wonderful journey that is getting a PS3 setup to record with my HDMI capture card.
Why?
There are games that are much, much, much easier to play on the PS3 than anywhere else that I would like to stream. So I was like, all right, let's do it. All right, step 1, get a HDMI to... So I get a component cable. Now let's get an HDMI to component converter. Does that work? Yes. But it looks like shit. It looks like actual goddamn shit. Like, it's all, the text is overlaid weird. And
did you grab an old Elgato?
I don't have an old Elgato that I can use on my new equipment. I'm trying to get it into my PCI Express capture card.
Okay.
Like, specifically into the back of my PC. Right?
Because
All my old Elgatos are deep in a fucking box, and if I did use them, I would have to do the sync delay shit. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
The sync delay fucking sucks, but
So
that was the method.
Then you get to embark on the wonderful pseudo-legal world of HDMI splitters.
That was the second suggestion.
Which is so great because the reason why you can't output a video through HDMI through a capture card on what do you call it, on the PS3 is because you have Blu-ray movies, but more specifically because you have HDCP, which is hard. It's copy protection for movies or whatever the fuck. And unlike the current thing, or what you would say, how would I put this? Unlike the current PS4 situation where you can just turn that shit off, right? You can't on PS3, and it's always on if you're going through HDMI. So that's a signal copy protection that's being transported over the goddamn video signal somehow. I don't know. It's magic. So what you want is an HDMI splitter, because an HDMI splitter often breaks down your HDMI signal and then re-encodes it into two different signals and then sends it along. However, and this is the fun part, you don't want a high-quality, high-end, good-ass HDMI splitter. No, you want the cheapest $15 to $20 piece of shit that you can get your hands on that will still technically work, because good ones put the chips and the time and the technology in them to pass along the HDCP encryption. Mm-hmm. You want the garbage ones. You want the ones that are just good enough to send the signal, but not good enough to do anything that would actually bring them up to the standards of the rest of your video equipment.
So when I looked into that stuff before, from what I recall, it wasn't even a matter of how shitty it was, but I think it was an actual regulation that said they had to include it.
It is. So it used to be time. It literally used to be time. When the PS4 first came out, it was, can you find a splitter that was manufactured before like 2014, right? If anything new will support HDCP for your PS3, right? Anything old probably won't. Now, almost everything supports HDCP. So it's not about time, because you're not going to find 2008 HDMI splitting converters, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're looking for the nexus of garbage, but well made.
Yeah,
right.
So
you want the fact that the factory serfs that are jumping into their nets, when they're not being pulled from the nets, they did a really good job on your converter, but the converter is a cheap piece of shit.
The one that I got works. You know, we used it for Parasite Eve. The thing is that, like, at least thankfully modern PlayStation stuff, you can turn HDCP on and off. But yeah, you go back to that previous gen, and both the Vita and the PS3 are like permanently on. Did you notice any quality drops on your split?
The blacks aren't quite as deep.
Mm-hmm.
They gray out. Yeah, but that's all video capture stuff, and especially over component. So I'm sending you my Amazon link actually in Discord, Wolves, just so that if you happen to need this purpose,
okay,
it is. There's a certain if you go to this Amazon page, I'd actually like to talk to you. There's a certain type of graphic where it's like there's a fake TV floating on a white void with like pictures on it. That is like the hallmark of cheap equipment. You know what I mean? Like it's got the compatibility chart where it just shows you the back of the thing and just points a lot of arrows to here. You can connect to your Apple TV, and it's like only cheap garbage has this type of diagram.
Shout outs to the whale jumping out of the TV there. That's pretty.
Yeah, that's. I see somebody in the chat pretty much nailed it. You want something that spells "made in China" with an error. Yeah, you want garbage, and the bummer is that you should get two if it works, because it will die. So it will just die on you.
I assume you have everything you play plugged in through your capture device, right? Like, and that's what you're staring at most of the time, even when you're off stream.
Unless it's the PC. The PC, I use like window capture and game capture and stuff like that.
Okay.
But all the consoles are either hooked up to their, I would call their home input, and then I have a primary input for Elgato. So like right now, my PS3 is sitting in the Elgato input, and the Switch is in its home input. But if I was playing a PS4 game, then it would go into that, and so on and so forth.
Because I cycle whatever I'm capturing into the Elgato, and then of course that goes. There's a splitter, and then there's a
that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Thing. Yeah. But like whatever I'm not capturing, I put it back directly into the TV, and you get punched in the face with how deep the blacks are supposed to be, and like. In some cases, just like a sharpness, you know, like you kind of like sometimes playing Elgato for a long time, you pull it out like FF7 was probably the strongest example recently, where I popped FF7 back in straight to TV, and I was like, holy fuck, I'm seeing a worse version of this.
I've never seen FF7 outside of my capture device.
Plug it in directly, and
no, I don't want to.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna make you sad because you're like, fuck.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna replay it on the. I'm gonna play it on the PC with mods that make Tifa's tits bigger than her head, but you know, as God intended.
Indeed, this is also like the least relatable conversation in the world, of course, but it is a weird one to see.
People can relate to tits bigger than your head.
That happens.
I've seen it.
I know it.
Yeah. You know that I've seen it, or like?
No, I know of people that have that configuration.
Yeah, it's sad, but
is it?
It's gotta be. Well, it's sad for their lumbar spine.
They didn't seem to mind it.
It's sad for the bottom of their back. If not now, then later.
Perhaps, yeah. 𝙲𝚘𝚕𝚍𝚍.
Oh man.
But
that's just an anime character, Willie. No one would actually look like that.
No one would look like that at all.
No one could ever look like that.
That kind of face?
Bunny, get out of here! Get out of here, Bunny! You're ruining the point we're making. Anyway.
The little darkness light fade of like drop the game out until you can't see the logo shit. Right, where it's like I have a skewed version of that setting because of the capture device, but nonetheless hard drive is out here calling out baby bitch boy for not darkening the full screen.
No, like you don't understand. It looks different on the capture compared to the. You don't understand. Also, I recently streamed RE7. I finished streaming RE7, in which RE7 on game capture is like 10 shades darker than it is on window capture. I've never seen any game do that. The other Resident Evil engine games don't do that. It's just RE7. I think it's because they horribly botched their HDMR implementation. I think they just horribly fucked it up.
Yeah. But in any case, the splitter I ended up with just makes everything go, and it was nice. But the most absolute absurd bullshit setup I've ever gone through was when I got that Dreamcast with the HDMI on it. Right? So
You mean the thing that's supposed to solve all of the problems?
yes, which it does, but you're not supposed to go from that into because it's got the converter box, and then you're not supposed to go from that into an Elgato directly. It just doesn't like it, right? So I had to go Dreamcast HDMI converter box into Xbox One pass through, and the Xbox One guide system then created a full screen display, and then the Xbox went into the Elgato, which went into the rest of the setup.
That's stupid.
It was the dumbest. It was the dumbest, but it got it working.
That's stupid.
The Xbox ended up being an HDMI splitter in and of its own, just through the
I don't think that's what
guide.
they meant when they meant Xbox One input 1.
It's the all-in-one device.
Pass-through device.
There you go. Use it like a sleeve.
So, I did solve my HDMI issue. I can use the PS3 to record, yay. But this led me to an old memory that I had forgotten, which is, well, the games that I want to stream, I do own off the PlayStation Store. Let's just go ahead and... oh my god! The PS3 Store.
The worst.
It's
worst.
the worst I've ever seen on any device in my life.
They never went back to fix it beyond that. It used to be even worse. This is an improvement, and it's still trash. Yep.
It took me like 25 hours to download a game. I couldn't believe it. And you have to leave it on, too. You can't even turn the fucking console off. Holy shit.
Yeah, we just got used to the struggle, and now everyone forgets how easy PS4 has it. One generation ago, it was a trash store.
It's still not the best, but man, like your PS3 feels like it's choking navigating on the store. I had that fun experience that I know you've had both on Xbox and on PS3 or PS4, where the download list is a nightmare, so I go to search for the game instead, and I type in the full name of the game, and other bullshit is coming up instead. And I have to scroll through like 100 entries to get to the game that I typed in the whole name on.
Now, this one generation ago was the first online storefront for console that Sony made.
That's true.
We've been in this world for a while now, but it is, in fact, only one console ago that they introduced that.
2 stores ago, though.
2 stores ago. No,
they did have the Vita store.
Yeah, they did have the Vita store. And again, this is the store has gone through changes from the launch version on PS3, but it is easily the worst one, especially when you go back to like the Xbox Live store on 360. It it was there. It did its thing. It worked.
I miss Blades.
Everyone misses Blades. They made Transformer noises. Yeah, you could shop like that. The eShop, it's a bunch of websites, not great.
But it had that music though.
They had the music, but like there'd be a point where you're browsing with the cursor and something doesn't load up, and you see the JPEG X problem, and you're like, oh god, I'm staring at a fucking website. Right, which they all are, but it I say Sony's was the worst one.
You know what?
It would take forever.
While we're shitting on storefronts, I would like to take a special moment to I know it's a bit out of time, but we've had time to percolate and use it, and I really can't say enough about how terrible the Epic Games Store actually is to use. It's it's fucking terrible. There are problems that I can't believe they haven't fixed, and I don't mean the shopping cart shit, right? So if I put the Epic Games Store on my main monitor, because of my PC's like interface settings at 4K, I can't actually browse the store at all.
So I was about to say that you're talking about how shitty the Epic Game Store is, but I don't even qualify it as a store because it literally does not work still. When I open it up, I stare at a black screen with nothing on it, and the mouse has to click on invisible buttons to find my way to the game I want to play.
So, Wooly, I'm going to send you
it doesn't
two
count.
screenshots.
It has no score. I give it no grade because it doesn't function.
I'll send you two screenshots to emphasize my point. I'm showing Wooly a screenshot right now of Epic Game Store on my main monitor. It's literally just a photo of like the goddamn things that are on the store. Like, oh, here's the fucking expansion for Alan Wake.
Mm-hmm.
When I put it to my sub monitor, which is 1080p only, I get to see what is actually apparently a usable store.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
And the tabs pop up and it's usable. And I'm like, why the fuck is this?
The first is just a picture and the second is all the tabs. Okay, for me,
That's fucking stupid.
Dude, I don't even get the picture. I get nothing. There is a black box with minimize, full screen, and X in the top corner, and nothing appears in it. It actually doesn't do anything for me. Like, it's beyond the worst store. It's not a store. It's nothing.
And I think the reason why it's so fashionable for my own mind to make fun of the Epic Store now is because of Control's release date, right? So Control came out on Steam just now, right? I don't know if you saw, but there was an interview a while ago with the Metro developers. And the Metro devs literally said that they sold more copies of Metro Exodus on their first week on Steam than they had in the entire year of the Epic deal. Right? So games are they're not selling on Epic compared to what they are on Steam.
Well, of course.
But more than that,
that's not why Epic's paying for them.
Epic is often giving a $10 discount for games. So Control, I think, was $10 off, right? When it came to Epic, right? Well, here's the thing. Now, half of this is to 505 Games being a bunch of assholes, and the other half is that, man, this just doesn't work at all. So Control came out for $60, and then you bought the expansion for like 20 or 30, right? Control on Steam right now is $50 with both expansions. So eat shit.
Yeah.
Like just literally eat shit. Like the publisher is to blame for much of that, but the fact that people are saying it's on sale for $30 in the US. Guys, I live in Canada. Remember, things are more expensive up here. The dollar is bad. Anyway, like sometimes the games come out a little cheaper on Epic, but oftentimes they don't actually. And the other thing is like the multiplayer situation for some games is like the games might as well actually only launch when they come out on Steam. It's like I'm thinking about this. Well,
Epic is committed to the loss on the purchase. They know that it's a publicity purchase.
Well, have you streamed any games that were found on the Epic Games Store?
Yes, I streamed 𝙗𝚗𝚗.
Okay. Was that the Epic Games version of 𝙗𝚗𝚗?
Yes.
All right. Now, let me ask you a serious question, because I thought about this and I had to answer it. If you were not streaming these games or recording them for professional purposes, would you not have just waited?
In the case of 𝙗𝚗𝚗, no, because I had already played it myself off camera because I really fucking love Supergiant games. The only other game I used the Epic Store for was Outer Wilds, excuse me. There it is.
Still, it's impossible.
And in which case, yeah, definitely waiting or even just going over to the Game Pass would have been in the cards.
Like, I am a person who plays a lot of video games and spends many times playing the video games, right? If I had not streamed Hades or Outer Worlds / Wilds, right, or Control, I would have absolutely have waited. Like, there's so many games to pick from. There's so... And
I just played Control on PS4. I mean, I played the console version of that. Like, fuck it.
Exactly. Like,
it's just not worth
it. I foresee, like, they're throwing all this money at it, and like the situation for like the people's acclamation to the Epic Store, like people are still complaining just as much as they did a year ago.
Well, the way I see it is, I remember when I thought Origin was my worst nightmare, and now it's like, holy shit, when I open up Origin I can see the buttons. You know? This is like, the Epic Store is a whole other level of what are you even doing?
There is a layer underneath that, below that even, which is the Microsoft Store.
Like the Metro shit?
Pardon?
The Metro shit?
No, I mean like the Windows PC Store, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
the stuff that you had to get PSO from.
And it runs in Metro. Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
That one is actually worse because it includes situations like, I downloaded the game, where is it? Oh, it deleted itself. And why can't I delete this folder off my PC? Why does this folder have above admin positions? Permissions.
Because the store and everything it does is running in the Metro system, which is parallel to your Windows Explorer, and they're fighting each other for control of your computer at all times.
It's so bad. It's like it's astonishing that like, my initial impression of the Epic Store was it will boot a game. Therefore, it passes the early era Uplay test, where early era Uplay would not boot games. And it has been superseded by the new test of, does this store steal control of my PC, Microsoft? I have a folder on my G drive I can't get rid of.
Yep.
Because of that failed fucking PSO2 installed.
You're gonna want to boot in command prompt and do a removal that way. You're gonna want to go to DOS.
The only way to get rid of it is to do registry edits.
Okay, well,
and I'm not doing registry edits.
Whenever I had undeletable folders, I deleted them through DOS.
That apparently will not work for this.
I think, like, in the case of the worst storefronts, like, Steam did come along and make PC everything go together, and of course it's not without its problems, but like, we got used to that of like, hey, all these PC games are here, you click and download and go. And when I see how annoying it is using these other ones, I'm not even gonna fucking go into the Ubisoft one, like, it just makes me kind of long for days of, you know what? Let me just go to the website of the game and click download purchase and just download it from the site.
There are only two stores that are worth using. One is Steam, and the second is GOG.
Last time, it's been a while. I haven't used Battle.net in a minute, but Battle.net did function fine when I was playing Overwatch.
It sucks.
As
somebody who was using it to play Warzone,
yeah,
let me tell you,
I didn't have many problems with it.
It's not great. It's really not great at all.
But then again, like, I'm talking about in comparison to like unplayable shit.
The worst part about Battle.net is how the launcher is designed in such a way to keep trying to get you to play WoW.
Mm.
Like, there's no way to get it off the screen, and it randomly cycles between your games sometimes when you're not playing it. And it's like, hey, we're Warcraft here! And you're like, no. No. Bad. And then fucking Call of Duty downloads a 98 gigabyte patch. And you're like, why? Why?
Well, fair enough. Yeah, it's fucking, it's rough out there at these storefronts.
Well, I am convinced that the Call of Duty like size thing is to force other people to not be able to play other games because they won't have enough hard drive space.
Could you imagine walking into the Epic brick and mortar store, and then as soon as you open the door and walk in, they shut the lights off and pull a curtain behind you, and you're just standing in pitch black, and they're like, "Hey, how can we help you?"
Oh man, that's really threatening.
And then you're like, I can feel the energy of people in this room, because when I mouse over these buttons, my cursor turns from a regular arrow into a hand. So there's things to click on. There are people in this dark room, and I can feel the draft of wind that implies that the room is pretty big. This is a large room with people in it. And
that's threatening.
Someone from at least 10 feet away is saying, "Hey, welcome to the Epic Game Store. How can I help you?"
Oh my god.
And I'm standing in the dark.
I just opened up the Epic Game Store again while you were talking to see what you were saying, and take a look at what just happened on my second monitor. That's my whole screen. It's literally the tab for store is literally the whole screen.
Yeah. It's like
this fucking piece of shit.
You could help me by turning the lights on. Nope. All right. I'm going to go. I'm going to stumble looking for the handle on the door to walk back out the way I came in. Worse yet is I already have my purchase in hand because I already got Hades, and I'm just trying to figure out how to run it. Anyway, at the very least, you just
want to play a video game without having to yell that something's a fucking piece of shit.
You install that shit with the icon to the game directly on your computer, so that you don't have to go through the store to boot it up. And I don't know.
Pretend the store doesn't exist.
Is there a web version?
No.
Wait. I'm like, if you can do a web interface, just to completely fucking avoid it, that'd be nice too.
There is.
Okay.
There is a web version.
Okay.
Which is much better designed than the... Are you serious?
Yeah. So fuck the rest.
What a fucking stupid piece of shit.
Indeed.
It's the kind of thing where it's like, they're paying for all these exclusives, but by forcing people to use the Epic Store, I can only imagine it is making people actually averse to it because it's terrible.
That was what I remember getting mad at when, last time I had to use this, was just the idea of you're buying off like all these copies, and these indies are like, yeah, no choice, we got to take the deal. And then you're funneling people into a fucking garbage store where it's like, you're not even going to attract people to stick around. You're spending money on these exclusives instead of fixing the store. That was the whole argument. It was like, take all that cash you're paying for these exclusives and use it on the fucking store.
But, it's the situation. It's like, hey, we got them in the store, and then we pelted them with feces, making sure that they'll never want to come back. Ever.
Yeah. Anyway, so you eventually got it up and running?
Yeah, PS3 works.
Okay.
I got the games installed and they work, so I'll start the plans to put that content series together, I guess I would call it.
Okay.
I'm also doing a Supergiant marathon because I
Nice.
was like, I never got more than 1 hour into Transistor and Pyre.
Pyre, I need to go back to. Yes, Pyre is currently my guilt is that I didn't finish Pyre. There's a whole lot waiting for you.
But I was like, hey man, Hades is coming out. Why not? I'll do that. Those games are good.
They're all winners.
They're all winners. The one thing I don't like is that when you go back in time, Bastion has all sorts of fucky PC shit. Where it's like, don't try and run that game at 4K. Because if you do, the game's like hilarious and unplayable. Because the Bastion kid is just a super tiny dot.
I've only
Because
ever
the art
played
assets don't scale.
Oh, that's no good. Yeah, no, I've only ever played it on 360. So
yeah, me too, honestly. Though it's hard to go back to Bastion with your main attack button being B. Like,
what else going on?
This dog is fat, needs lots of attention. That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He's asleep, not 3-4 feet from me, snoring away. We sing to him that he is a stinky little fat boy, and he seems to enjoy that. Because he's a stinky little fat boy.
I heard that you got hyper combo finished by an a double team X cut.
Yeah, that was a comic. That wasn't a real thing that happened.
Okay.
But it will. Probably the goofiest thing that's occurring with the two pets, the Elmo the cat made of garbage and Zangief the dog made out of poop, is that we'll be like, hey, we're gonna sit down and eat something, so we'll tie Puppy up to the leg of the table or something so that he doesn't run around and pee on a carpet, right? And the cat will come over and sit not 6 inches from the end of the dog's leash and just sit there, placid, calm, and stare at dog who is just desperate to play with cat. And maybe occasionally boop his nose as a form of taunting. It's fucking awful. He's such an asshole.
As if to say, you are not worthy of my grace.
Well, it's as if to say, I can go everywhere in the house because I poop in a box. You have to be constantly watched because you poop on the floor.
Okay.
Because he's a stinky little fat boy. Also discovered a very bizarre thing. Everyone wants to kiss the dog. Like random passerbys. Or like, can I kiss him? And it's like, it's a dog that is not your dog.
Yeah. Some people have no filter on that. They don't mind.
Now, to be fair, his nose and jowls are soft and kissy, but it's my dog, so that's different.
Yeah, no, I don't like. If you're that kind of person, then so be it. But there's definitely something gross about like getting all up in someone else's dog's chops.
Yeah,
that ain't.
You don't know.
That ain't
you don't
right.
know if he's eaten pooped like 5 minutes earlier.
You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. What? I know he's not eating poop, but they don't know that he didn't eat poop. They don't know that I didn't eat poop.
Also,
nobody knows.
Bad owner you don't know if the person's a good or a bad owner, you know?
Yeah. I could have been eating the dog's poop and then breathe it on you. Worried about COVID? Get a load of this. But it's poop.
Where are you gonna
The point I'm trying to make is that you don't know.
Where are you gonna be?
This is why I don't buy used vintage clothes or items, because I'm terrified that somebody like came all over it for fun and then sold it to the Goodwill.
You can you can blacklight that.
Yeah, I don't want to. Then I'll know.
Well, nowadays you can buy new clothes that's already looks pre-worn, even though it's not.
That's horrible. I hate that. That's stupid.
Jeans have been doing it for years.
Yeah, pre-distressed jeans or whatever.
Yeah.
It always just looks like somebody took a fucking giant cum cock and sprayed it on the knees.
There's a whole factory line that roughs it up on purpose in a bunch of different ways.
Terrible.
Make it look like
get out of here.
You're a hard worker.
Stop coming on my clothes. I want clothes that look like they haven't been cummed on. Is that so much to ask? All right. I'll admit I kind of got confused there for a second. You were asking where I'm gonna be?
That was the question.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna be at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. I'll do the AWE expansion for Control on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll be doing Bastion starting on Thursday. I was gonna stream Tony Hawk, and then I was like, what am I, stupid? Why don't I just play the whole game mute?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that
and I brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
I brought that up, and someone said, well, just turn the music off. And I'm like, why would I even bother playing it?
No, fuck. You damn it. Oh, man. That game is ruined by the modern era. Oh, shit. Oh, that didn't dawn on me at all. Modern Tony Hawk you can't do it.
Can't do anything with it. Nope.
And you can't not play with the soundtrack. What the fuck are you doing? You're wasting your time.
It's unsettling and awful.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, by the way, I do have some news for you. Did you see that in Tony Hawk 1+2, Bam has died?
I didn't.
They've removed him from the cover of American Wasteland.
Did they?
Yeah. So it's in a timeline in which Bam died as a child or something.
What the fuck is going on with that?
They would probably have had to pay him something for the license for the cover. So they just photoshopped him out.
Wait, so
shut up.
Is he not in no wait, he was never in 1 and 2. He was in
No, he's never in 1 and 2. Yeah,
he was in 3 and onward, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, but why would a picture of him be?
Because in the warehouse there's posters for all the other games.
Okay, so including the future.
Yeah. Which is its own kind of.
Well, that's all kind of time. That's time fuckery anyway, right? Why would we be staring at future events?
And also remember the skaters in Tony Hawk 1+2? They're all current age.
Yeah. Unless that's to mean that this is not in fact a remake, but it actually
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2R? Is that what we're talking about? No.
Wait for the ghosts to appear. Wait for the ghosts to appear. That's, yeah.
I tell you what. I have a friend of mine. You know Fuggins, right?
Yeah.
Old friend of mine from college.
Yeah.
And I've never met anyone in my life who's hated someone more that they don't know than the way Fuggins hates Bam Margera. And it's it's so strong that I learned to hate Bam Margera from him, and it's almost wholesome. It's all fuck Bam Margera. Oh my god.
What in particular?
Just his fucking face and the way he acts and fucking Bam Margera.
That definitely sounds like secondhand hatred. That definitely sounds like it's coming out of nowhere.
Bam Margera reminds me of my brother. How about that?
That's fine. There you go. Fine.
Hey, I've told stories of my dirtbag brother in the past, and people have been like, I wonder what Pat's brother is like. My brother is like Bam Margera.
how would your parents react to him coming in and blaring shit in their room in the middle of the night, or like putting a horse in the driveway?
That would not happen.
Okay. Because the main thing
my dad, if that would have happened, my dad would be like, "You're going to stay with your mother."
Because what I was looking for is what's the deal with the Bam hatred, and I was looking for, do you see the way he treats his parents?
Oh yeah,
and that's the answer that you're expecting.
And they're always trapped in this thing where he's making a lot of money off of being a terrible son.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, it's funny because there's like a lot of superficial similarities between Tom Green and Bam Margera, particularly the pranks they played on their parents, but you never got anything malicious off Tom Green. It was more that he's actually just lost his fucking mind, whereas Bam is like an asshole. It says a lot that when you go back and watch the old Jackass movies, that the tricks that they're all playing jokes on each other, right? We got slapped by the giant hand,
mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But Bam's the only one that they're like, Bam is terrified of snakes. We're going to lock him in a room with a defanged king cobra until he starts to cry in panic and nearly shit his pants. Like, they're all like very mean-spirited towards Bam Margera, and you couldn't help but be like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's mm-hmm. Yeah, I would do that to Bam.
But
I would do that to Bam in a second.
If you give your mom PTSD, but then buy her a car with the money from the episode, then it's all good, right?
No, it's not.
No. Well,
he made a living off of bullying his parents. And then it's like, okay, do you enjoy getting bullied, Bam?
Both him and Tom Green are in the realm of this interaction with parents is so alien to me. It's just completely.
It's all right. Listen, because there's the obvious statement of
sense.
Like what. There's the obvious statement of like white kids and their parents, yada yada.
You said it. I didn't say it this time.
No. I mean, it's 100% accurate. But like Tom Green and Bam Margera are to white people the way white people are to every other parental group that aren't white people. Like, that's the jump, right? Like I look at Bam the way that you look at probably the way that I talk to my parents. So I literally can't even imagine what Bam looks like to you.
Look, how about this? For some modern context, there's a dude that was like a TikTok guy, and it's like he plays pranks on his black parents, right? And the types of pranks that you can get into to elicit reactions. Like, think about all that shit, right? And then what this guy does is he puts on a fake piercing on his face, ears, nose, and dresses up like a big emo kid, and then walks in the kitchen and starts singing fucking Linkin Park or something. And then they just look at him and freak out, and like you just get the dead inside stares of my son needs Jesus. And that is good enough for the bit. Right? That's already enough. So this whole fucking horse in the bedroom shit or paintball guns, like it's out of my understanding. It breaks the enclosure.
When Dad was asleep, we pushed him into the pool and then shot him with paintballs.
It breaks the fucking enclosure of my understanding. 'Cause like just dressing slightly weird and presenting yourself is bad enough to be like, roll the camera, this is gonna be great. Like, I don't know if y'all understand, like, the feeling that you might actually have your life ended with a look. Like the feeling that your soul has been evaporated from your body. Like that fucking like that Winnie the Pooh moment where he's sitting and then his ghost soul just floats out of his...
Yeah, the Kingdom Hearts soul just flies away.
Like, that's the look your fucking mom and dad give you, you know? So, I can't understand it. And I don't think I ever will. I think this is a bridge
I don't think you will.
uncrossed.
If and when you get a child of your own, it'll be fascinating, considering the child will have to deal with, I assume... Wooly, will you be that child's black parrot or just regular parrot? Like, are you gonna traditional it up?
That's fucked up. That's a fucked up question to ask. Do you realize?
Is it?
Do you realize that's a fucked up question to ask?
Oh, it super is. Oh, all right. Let me try that again. Are you going to be more like your mother, or are you going to be more like... You're going to try and tone it down a bit?
I think the goal of being a parent is to be the dad that wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm starting the baseline from.
Well, I mean, if you're starting at that baseline, all you really have to do is literally be there.
Exactly.
So you've already completed that.
Well, you know, he did attend, and he still exists. It's not as bad as other people where you have no idea where he is. I know where he is and what's going on. It's just there's just a whole bunch of shit in there that's not great. So, you know, yeah, the plan is to just, hey, what's up? I'm here. Let's do stuff, you know? Yeah, listen, there will be... Anyway, I don't know. We'll figure that out. Certainly, I'm not.
I am so embarrassed. That was a really stupid thing to say.
Just what the fuck. But anyway.
My bad, everybody.
We'll see.
So what's up with you, man?
Well, it was a week of, you know, a couple things here and there. We finished off that Mortal Kombat 11 bit, did the commentary on that. Things went pretty smoothly. Revisited some old fighters. Went back to Injustice 2, which is, you know, appropriate considering all the DC news. I think
Mortal Kombat with the ability to block like a regular game.
Exactly. So, you know, went to take a look at that again, and boy, the PC version of that thing has some issues that are not great. I generally don't have problems running PC games. I have a pretty decent computer. It's been fine for everything I've had to ever run so far until this one. And like doing an auto config and doing a benchmark and seeing shit come out low, and I'm like, how is that possible? And then having to drop settings down to all kinds of lower versions and still running into hiccups. I'm like, this is not my system. This is the game's problem.
All right, so Injustice 2 came out 2017?
It came out in the era of WBPC ports being what they are.
Okay, so the reason I ask is that Mortal Kombat 11 came out after that, right?
Yes.
Because that's the newest. Okay, did you try MK11 on your PC?
No.
Okay, because I'm wondering if it's just the shit they made afterwards.
I
just runs like garbage.
But yeah, I have to assume, because obviously playing the PS4 version is fine. It is what it is. But like I've never had a problem with any games ever until this one, in terms of, hey, not running smoothly, fuck around with your advanced settings, see what's going on. And much advanced settings fuckery later, shit is on low end and it's still causing problems. So I'm like, this is not great.
CPU. That's the first thing that I think of.
I mean, maybe
Is that
I'd have to dig deeper, but I remember the PC ports of these games were known for being not great for a while. Same thing for the Arkham games, right? So that was not fun to scrape up against right away. But we did manage to get through and do some episodes and have some Parsec matches with people. Bit of a weird discussion to figure out too, because that was a case where the game has rollback, but I had to kind of decide whether or not to go with the in-game engine net play or with Parsec, and we opted to go with Parsec because more people can play. You can just install the program.
Yeah, okay, so that's what that tweet was about. Because I saw you saying, "Hey guys, the reason we're using Parsec for the thing instead of the is because of this." And I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay, because it's easier for people to hop in.
Yeah, so that's the whole point, is to remove barriers to come try the game out with us and like get everyone to, on Thursday night, just grab your controller, tune into the stream, and whatever we're playing, you can connect with Parsec and play with us. That's what I want the goal to be, no matter what. There's a lot of times when I'll be like, hey, I'm popping this game in, and if someone has it, that's cool. But if you don't have it, then they're like, I don't know, should I don't know what to expect, but what if I don't get in? And so like it's always a little bit iffy. And then second, there's times when you're like, oh, we're playing this game, but it's like, oh, where's the community? Which version should we be even playing? And I grab the one that where the community is, but somebody is like, fuck, I only own it on something else, and that sucks too. So like there's a whole bunch of weird problems to overcome, in addition to the idea of like, well, this game might have rollback and be fine, but there's other stuff to consider here. I think the way we're going to go for it for now is when we're playing with a guest for Glory, with like a professional or sort of like competitive learning episode, we're going to go with the in-game stuff to keep it as tight as possible and show off the netcode being good. But for fun, when we're dicking around, just trying to get as many games in with people as possible, we're going to go with Parsec and try to get as many people to try out something new as we can. So
I'm pretty sure I've asked you this in the past, but Parsec's delay, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is it what would you compare it to in terms of like delay quality?
Parsec's delay quality is about as best as you can get it, to the point where
that's nice.
Communities like Marvel and Samsho are using it over the in-game netcode.
That's so fun.
So it's very reasonable. And most people that play it, that touched it on Thursday, came off of it going, hey, that's better than I thought, right? It's about as good as you're gonna get without going into rollback. That's what's up. So
that's still really embarrassing. You mentioned that Samsho thing in the past, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
They literally advertise the program with like a shot of like Tekken going like, hey, use this when you're playing Tekken, you'll get better results. You won't get as many issues and hiccups, and it's like, yeah, man, it's fucking smooth. Like the to be honest, the biggest issue, if any, is the fact that the person who's playing locally always has local advantage, and any hiccups that occur are going to occur to the remote player.
Just like good old Gears of War.
Was that migration hosts?
Yeah, Gears of War was every host. It was host advantage, host migration. Everything you could have was for the host, to the point where if you had two evenly matched teams, the team with the host on it would win 9 times out of 10. It was fucking crazy.
Wow.
It was fucking nuts.
Yeah. So in this case, it ends up working out for the stream, so that everything looks pretty tight overall. But every time someone played and I went, hey, how was that? How'd it go? Because I saw they had a high ping. They usually came back in and said, yo, that was pretty solid.
What's most important is that if the hiccups all happen on their end, that means you're gonna have like a slight advantage, so you can look good on your stream.
Oh fuck yeah, crush them. Sorry you got boxed.
Host advantage. I'm always the host. All right, everybody, come on in.
looks like we dunked on an Evo champion live here on Get Into Fighting Games.
Yeah, sorry your internet's so garbage. Jeez.
But yeah, Injustice, like, was just that stuff aside, it was interesting to go back to. Didn't get to touch. I didn't play any of the DLC characters from when they got announced, but it was fun seeing like the Ninja Turtles, and Hellboy and stuff like that. In the end, I kind of wanted to search for a main because Solomon Grundy, my boy, I complain about it every time, but he was one of my favorite grapplers ever, and he just didn't make the cut at all.
Yeah, it sucks. His little rhyming scheme grab combo was amazing.
And shout outs to, if you want to know why Solomon Grundy ruled, you can check out, shout outs to True Underdog Gaming, a friend of mine that does some Mortal Kombat content. He just put out a video on Solomon Grundy and like why he was so good as a grappler. And it's like, he had all the tools and just, it made getting up in your face fun and ridiculous at times. But anyway, so I was hunting for someone else to play, and I ended up kind of liking. At first, I heard like, "Oh, try out Bane. He's a grappler. He's pretty good." And I was like, "Yeah, he's all right," But I ended up having an affinity for Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing ended up being really cool, and I was also like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, Alan Moore Swamp Thing made it into Injustice. Forgot about that. Rad." So that ended up being pretty cool, and shout outs to Warner Brothers for copyright claiming the entire soundtrack of Injustice 2. So that video is going to take a second before it comes your way, because that's a fucking... Ugh. Anyway, also, it was weird to look back at the way they implemented the Ninja Turtles was the strangest, but it was just the way the system was. By default, you get a generic turtle.
All right, already I'm weirded out.
It is not. It is a non-specific turtle. The name of the character is TMNT. What you then must do is go into the customizable variations and choose the equipment to make Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and save them to different equipment slots.
That's fucking stupid.
It's yeah, right? And you go in and you change the headband, and then they get the weapons and everything, and the name appears, and then it goes Donatello, and the moves change and everything changes. But you have to equip them as separate variations.
Oh, because Injustice 2 is the one that has that in-depth gear system.
System, exactly. And like, you can really just see how much they fucking didn't care about anything and about the the competitive side of things, because MK11 eventually went, okay, here's a tourney variation, but you have to go make it manually yourself and save it in the game, otherwise fuck you. But in Injustice 2, they were just like, no, put on RPG equipment, level up, it'll change your moves, we don't care about your competitive shit, we don't give a fuck, too bad. Very weird. But you go in and then you set them up, and then by changing the headbands and the weapons, you get all 3 of the 4 turtles, because there's only 3 variation slots, so you can't even cycle through all of them without going back and changing one out, because there's only 3 variations per character.
That's stupid.
It's so dumb. Just, it's such an inconvenience for nothing, and it takes like 2 minutes to go in and do, but it's just like, oh, come on, just like, what okay, so I'm what am I wrong about here?
Something, probably.
You can unlock a 4th slot. Is that what it is? I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know that you could do that. You could unlock a 4th slot and then put them all in there. Okay. Well, that's nice. I don't know what the requirements are for unlocking. I kind of bought the game with its content and went into it like that, straight.
Well, don't you know you got to work at your fighting games to get them to the. You know, it's funny. I remember back when SF4 came out, everybody was arguing about unlockables, and when the Super Street Fighter 4 came out, everyone's like, "I can't believe you don't have to unlock the characters. What's even the point?" And now I'm just tired, and I want everything to be unlocked.
Well, it's not
instantly.
just that. It's not just that. It's not just tiredness. If the slots are locked, that doesn't improve the That's not okay. As a counterpoint to what I'm saying here, the slots being unlockable is still a thing where you're like, okay, I'm imagining, of course, Wooly's going to go into the competitive world. You have 8 copies of the game running at a tournament. You want to pop them all in. Needing progression saves like that always sucks. It's nice when you don't have to worry about that kind of thing. I think it's dumb to have slots unlockable. That shouldn't be the way that works, but I also think it's dumb to have equipment as the system in general. At the very least, I think you should just have the way that Mortal Kombat 10 did it, where it's like variation 1, 2, 3 done. If you're gonna do this, then do that. But have it set.
I remember watching this thing where, you know, because the Injustice series has a million quotes, that's, you know, start quotes, and I was watching a compilation of them, and like it would cycle through all these characters, and they were all just covered in this just bullshit. Like none of them had real designs. They were all just like, here's Aquaman, but now he's got a fucking robot helmet, and it looked fucking terrible.
I mean, look, it's if you grab the game like and just play through it solo, like most people that bought the game did, this is not necessarily a problem you're going to run into. But if you're playing locals, or if you're playing a tournament, or if you're doing anything in terms of just like getting a setup going, it adds some cumbersome stuff that doesn't need to be there, you know. But in any case, the going back to it was interesting. I did like, like I said, I liked the feeling of how they played, and I liked Hellboy 2. Seemed pretty all right. But just going back to Injustice now, it's so kind of strange to see how nutty they allowed that game to be, and then how Mortal Kombat 11 now shaped out, where they just kind of like changed some design decisions drastically, you know. And of course, the fact that they're like always willing to let a block button return to MK because it's tradition, but in Injustice, it's you hold the opposite side. It's almost a weird way of being like, we know the block button is just a little extra thing, but it's too late. We're stuck with it.
It's classic, man.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of what's going on. But yeah, anyway, no. For the extra unlockable stuff and the progression based things in the game. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know about any of that stuff, but yeah, I'm definitely someone who is like, hey, the way to handle this is like Shovel Knight Showdown. You have a nice little temp unlock or a permanent one, depending on how you want to handle this, and we just get right to what's good about the game, you know, showing it off and stuff. So we did that. Then I wanted to go play some fucking poverty-ass, grown-ass men dressed as Toho character shit, and it didn't work.
What?
Don't worry about it. It'll show up again. But there was a game that was, imagine it's your Dong Dong like, except everyone's dressed as Toho.
What's Toho again? Is that the shooter with the little girls?
It's the little girls shmuppin', yeah.
Okay.
And it didn't work, so, you know, for whatever reasons, perhaps Providence, we had to move on. So instead, I booted back up Punch Planet, because that game recently had a little graphical update and a balance update. But Wooly,
that's not poverty at all.
It's not. In fact, it's really good. And the team reached out to give some codes out, so we went back to visit that. And yeah, man, just in case y'all forgot, Punch Planet still rules. It's still got rollback.
Code, right?
It's still got rollback. GGPO. And it's gorgeous. And it's got some of the best fucking character designs ever. You got a fucking dog. It just talks. It's like, hey, I'm a dog.
I really like that. It's funny because it has all these great designs, and I'm partial to Agent G, which I'm sure you are as well. which is the
Tyra.
Kamen Rider
Tiara.
guy.
Tiara is my main for life.
But like one of my favorite characters in that game is Roy.
Yes.
Because he is the most generic character I have ever seen, and yet in the Punch Planet art style, he still manages to look pretty rad.
Tired cop man. I got my jacket.
It's almost like a Bruce Willis, like Fifth Element thing.
Yeah. I got my jacket and I got my smokes. Leave me alone. Absolutely.
And I have a gun.
But yeah, Tiara is the snoo queen.
God, I forgot that dog's name was Dog.
Dog's name is Dog.
That's fucking hilarious.
Dog's name is Dog. Agent G sits there and does Captain Commando Sentai poses. You know? Game rules. It's great. And there's 2 more characters down beneath, and their silhouettes are power silhouettes. You know when you see an outline for a character and you're like, that's a power shape. You know? Mm-hmm. So,
oh yeah, I'm looking at the character select, and the one on the bottom right is clearly holding their arm up in a cool pose.
Something going on there, you know, whatever it is. So yeah, just a reminder that Punch Planet exists and still rules. Yeah, that that pretty much that's all I really did. I mean, I did a bunch of other stuff, working on things that are eventually going to be available and
still
announced.
Working on your secret projects.
Always. Takes a lot. But hey, something that just popped up was the triathlon video is up and available, and has been memed to shit, as to be expected. You guys can go check that out at the moment. Some fun stuff in there. That was the
saying you're a victim of memes.
Well, and to be fair, Little V's editing was to kind of maximize that. So, yeah, up on Woolly Versus now. You can go check it out. We're continuing with Tsushima. I unlocked.
Hey, Ryuzo's a bitch, man.
Yeah. He pissed me off strong. I got mad.
He's like the ancient Japanese samurai equivalent of a scrub quote.
It's kind of interesting seeing him turn into a bitch and then getting slow implications so far that, hey, maybe, your bitch dad might have been less bitch, but we'll have to see because I don't know yet.
So that you're talking about the ride with the old lady?
Ride with the old lady, yeah.
Dude, that conversation and her question is the best one in the entire game.
It felt really good.
She's just telling you about like these, like, hey, your uncle and your dad, and she's like, oh, your dad? Your dad was a crazy guy.
Yeah.
He would have thought that the ghost was baller, and you're like, oh, what?
Yeah, but let's. I'm not to get into any spoilers for people, but that was a really good quest line. I enjoyed.
What uncle says.
And yeah, everything, difficulties. They're like, okay, combat's real now. You got to fight them. Them samurais that are like, yo, we're here too, and we can deflect your deflections.
You mean the samurais that are like, do you know what I love more than Japan? Money.
Yeah. So yes, I've unlocked the second of the gifts, the achievements in the big ol' influencer box. And that will be revealed in the upcoming episodes as well. Although if you saw my tweets, you might have seen what it is already. It's the fucking mask. They give you the mask.
Oh, cool. You know what's weird about that game? Like really weird? How they don't give you the mask. Like that game, you are like super deep into that game before you get the armor you're wearing on the box. It's really weird. I kind of like it.
There we go.
What's going on?
Just for the visual, there's it's the actual fucking mask, pretty slick.
Oh, sick.
Can probably put a surgical mask under that and rock it outside too.
And people think you're cool.
Yo. Hey, there was a dude walking around
now
Montreal.
They won't think you're cool.
There's a dude walking around Montreal with a plague mask, like with the big fucking nose and everything. So,
I mean, Wooly, there's guys walking around Montreal right now dressed as fucking Spider-Man. Like, you can mean anything. There's all sorts of dum-dums.
There's all sorts of dum-dums. But you can find this type of dum-dum over on Wooly Versus, playing through Tsushima, playing through Paper Mario, playing through Halo Reach, and we had our Jenga video, and then the triathlon went up, and it was a good time. So check that all out. Wooly Versus on YouTube, Wooly Versus on Twitch. Okay. So let's take a quick word from our sponsors.
Let's do that.
This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by DoorDash.
Hey, DoorDash, what's up?
You know what's up. DoorDash is bringing what you want to eat straight to you, and they're doing it safely, and they're doing it really quick, and you're just pressing a couple buttons, and then you're getting your food. You know the deal.
I have a DoorDash story. I ordered DoorDash this week.
Okay.
And my food was a little late because the Wi-Fi was screwy at the restaurant, so like it looked like the car wasn't going anywhere, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And so I was like, hey, DoorDash, do you know where my food is? And they were like, Patrick, you are a very valued customer, and we love you. And you hold on just 1 second. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, I see you are a valued customer, and I will give you a big refund. And also here's a $20 thing because you are important and you deserve it. You are the best customer I have had all day. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, thank you so much. And then all caps, Patrick, you were great. And I was like, oh, okay.
Damn.
So their customer service is really nice.
Did you feel
really nice?
Did you feel good? Good.
I felt a little pretty.
There you go. There you go. So that's great. And you know, as we know, they're out there supporting restaurants in the city, keeping everything open. You guys can order from like over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Canada, Australia. All your local go-tos, all your favorite chains, they're on there. You got tons of choices, and it's super easy to just open up the app, choose what you want to eat, and have the contactless delivery option. Drop the food off right at your front door. So yeah, get in on it. Real simple. Right now, our listeners can get $5 off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code CASTLE. That's $5 off your order and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter code CASTLE. Don't forget, code CASTLE for $5 off your first order with DoorDash. Thank you, DoorDash.
Thank you, DoorDash.
We've also got a new sponsor this week.
Oh my goodness.
Anticipation.
Who could it be?
This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by Fubo TV. So, this is a service that you've got. If you're somebody who knows that cutting the cord on TV is the way to go, because, you know, that's you on demand is what it's all about, but you still want to catch live at the same as well. You want the option to catch live and you want the option to have on demand. Fubo TV is here to help you solve that problem with the best of both worlds. It's pretty much everything you're looking for in one place for less than the cost of cable. Over 100 channels, cloud DVR, no hidden fees, stream shows that you want to watch to your TV or any smart device.
Including sports, which is big push on their website because sports, god damn it.
They have a comprehensive sports package.
Sports is how the cable people get you usually. You're like, I want some sports, but the only way to get it is through cable. I love sports.
You are
it always depresses me at how much sports I can't get unless I use cable. But are you telling me that using Fubo TV, I'll be able to get the sports that I need?
You'll get all the sports you need, and you'll get them live. It'll be perfect. You won't have to worry about any of the awful cable troubles. You can just put that past behind you and get into it with, all the sports you'd like. You got live events, and then of course you've got the DVR, and you've got on demand. It's great. There's no risk to try it out. You can get full access to Fubo TV for 7 days for free. So right now, Fubo TV is offering our listeners 7 days free as a trial and 15% off your first month by going to FuboTV.com/SuperBeast. There are no contracts, and you can cancel anytime. Go to FuboTV.com/SuperBeast for 15% off your first month and a free trial. That's FuboTV.com/SuperBeast. Thanks, Fubo TV.
Thank you, Fubo TV.
So, Gamescom. Yeah? Is that the sound of Gamescom?
That is the sound of Gamescom.
There's some stuff.
Was there? Did you watch it?
I did my post roundup, as it were.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. You didn't watch it.
Yeah, no.
You got the good version.
That's my version all the time. But let's start out, though, before we get into that. There's a whole lot of Gamescom bits and pieces that we can crack open. But there's we got to get to the good bits, like the Ford gamer car. Did you?
That no one can buy and isn't made for human driving.
Did you like the Ford gamer car?
I thought the funniest thing about the Ford gamer car was that it's this future car, and then it has the ugliest fuck Ford logo just slapped to the front of it to make it look like an actual piece of shit, even if you like that design.
Look, it's Ford gamer car. That's fine and dandy, but my gamer car is the fucking PS1 truck, and I'm still waiting on that. I want that PS1 polygonal ass truck to exist already so that we can just hurry up and live in a video game world.
Oh, can we get it painted like it's got pixels on it? I would love that.
Yes. I actually want the black lines on the seams to be like non-sharp lines. Absolutely. Give me my Cybertruck. Anyway. No, I was going to say that there's a little bit of news besides Gamescom. One of which
was there?
Little bit. One of which was the discovery of little did we know of the secret evil underground organization known as Umbra.
Oh, you already saw it. Damn it.
We did not know.
I was hoping to get your live reaction
about Umbra. And the fact that Umbra is actually beneath most of the civil social unrest, and their ideologies don't matter. They just they're no good.
They tell you they're for anti-corruption and equality, but they're actually just terrorists.
And you can recognize the trademark Umbra symbol, the raised black fist, as the icon of Umbra. Hail Umbra is
now,
really
Wooly,
the energy that they're bringing. But how do we stop them?
Well, this is what's really important. So we have our deniable ops, our CIA man, such as Sam Fisher, who is good to go for whatever the government tells him. But more than that, we're not going to beat Umbra by playing by the rules, Wooly. We're going to need to go extra legal and invite cartel members and terrorists to stop the evil that is Umbra. Because it's just that important.
Good and bad people alike need to be brought on board so that we have a takes no shit team to deal with these revolutionaries that are actually just evil.
They're out to destroy the world order and bring in a new, worse world order.
So let's get some real good heroes and some criminals. Let's arm them.
Bad criminals.
Let's get some criminals and some heroes, and let's arm them and put them on the same team and send them out there to stop the big fist in the sky.
The evil organization that is so. Wooly, we have to remember. Okay, this is really important. Wait, before we go further. Okay, it's not just that this Umbra organization is committing terror acts that are causing innocent lives and trying to upend the world order. No. They are also using social media to discredit world leaders.
This is true.
That's just as important.
Social media is making the Umbra cause viral, and that's bad because it's infecting minds and hearts. We need our gun criminals to go in there and defeat minds and hearts by winning the people over with our guns. Hey, okay, so let's put a pin right there, all right? And let's just step back to any conversation we've had about me talking about the games industry and projects that I've worked on. And in general, we know a thing or two. I would say you understand a thing or two about the games industry. Maybe
I have followed and known enough people in the games biz, and I would consider myself now part of the games biz, to know a little bit about how things are made.
Okay. I won't ask you what you classify yourself as, but you definitely can answer.
Influencer.
Well,
obviously.
In your estimation, about how long does the average current day Ubisoft game take to make?
Long time. Depending. This is a mobile game, so it's probably a little less, but for the average Ubisoft game, takes between 1 and 3 years. Maybe 4 if it's an important one.
Would you definitely say then it takes more than just the months of 2020?
Yes. In fact, this game was announced back in June of last year. I even have a promo screenshot of it.
Okay.
From an article on June 10th right now.
Okay.
And it's just got a bunch of Rainbow Six characters and Sam Fisher's looking at each other.
So how many meetings do you think occurred between, I don't know, let's just arbitrarily say George Floyd and now, that had a bunch of people talking it over, possibly sweating, and then going, nah, let it rock?
So you're obviously a lot more in tune with internal politics of a game industry place and, meetings and whatnot. My personal guess is 1. people brought it up, and the person whose ability to say "nah, let it ride" said "let it ride," and then the second time it got brought up, the statement was, "I said let it ride."
That is possible. Who knows? I would assume more than one, personally. But it has been brought to my attention, because here's the other thing now. I don't really know about the bad guys in recent Tom Clancy games. But it's been brought to my attention that apparently for the last couple, they've kind of been going for like no real cause, no real purpose, just sort of terrorists for the sake of terror without an attachment thing for all the plausible deniability in the world.
In Wildlands, it's, I want to say, a fucking foreign government that's bad.
Okay. So I did, and I don't know because I didn't go through it, but I saw implication that
no, sorry, it's in Wildlands. It's Bolivia is taken over by a Mexican drug cartel.
Okay, what's the one where you're in New York and everything's fucked up?
The Division.
The Division. I heard that one was against non-specific people that are kind of vaguely climate change people.
Oh no, Wooly! In the Division, the first people you shoot are looters. I'm using air quotes here, wearing a bunch of hoodies.
Okay.
And the first mission in the game is food drops have landed in this section of the city. You have to stop looters from getting them because we need them. So you go and shoot all the people trying to eat. And then the second enemy faction is a public workers union that has gone crazy and turned genocidal because their union is a cult.
Okay.
And then in the second game, it's about the American Civil War in modern day in Washington, D.C. And it turns out that the Division may, in fact, actually be the evil faction.
Okay. Well. Listen, there is obviously something here that is clear. That is, this game was not. We're talking about the Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which had the intro played where we saw all this stuff that we're talking about for the game. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the game was not written in fucking February, right? Obviously,
it also wasn't written in the United States. It's a French game.
French game, right? Definitely.
Like Paris, France game.
But, like, and sometimes, as we know, video games happen to just land too on the money. Ask Hideo Kojima about that.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't want to.
It seems...
Give me a weird answer.
Right? So, all coincidences in place, it just seems kind of nuts to not expect there to be some kind of feelings about the trailer for this game.
It's
not even on a level of like, here's what you should or should not have done. It's, how did you expect people to react here? Did you not expect there to be anything coming up? Because they apologized and they said they're removing the black fist.
The fist.
They're removing the fist. And you know, there's people that are like, man, there's nothing wrong with that. Fuck it, it's fine anyway. And it's like, okay, that's what you feel. But it definitely is something where like the company, like the people whose job, the HR department, whose job it is to like stop this further bad light from shining on a company that's already been, I believe the word is, embattled this year from looking extra negative. And well, it was already pretty rough with everything coming out about Ubisoft. This is just a little extra like, hey, reminder, what the fuck, we didn't pay attention to this, we didn't think this was going to be a big deal.
I feel like that train of thought is almost giving Ubisoft in particular, and I want to bring Ubisoft specifically to task for this. I was making fun of the day that I saw this trailer. I was making fun of the Activision devs because, sure enough, they put out an interview where they talk about having Ronald Reagan in their game doesn't mean anything.
we can talk about World at Cold War because that's a trailer too. And I'm watching.
Like Ronald Reagan is there being like, I'm the hero that enabled the other Black Ops games, and I'm so cool.
I'm watching that trailer and I'm like, damn, that looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, press nothing to let the CIA ravage the hood with crack to fund foreign wars.
Press F to ignore the AIDS crisis is my other favorite one.
Just leave it alone.
Right? So that I was like making fun of that pretty much all day because it's like it's the most absurd it's ever been, right? And then around, I don't know, like 6-7 p.m., like I saw people talking about this Ghost Recon Elite Squad thing. I'm like, how bad? Wow! Out of my way, Call of Duty. You know, who cares about that? Who gives a shit anymore? Right? Like, get the fuck out of here. You got knocked off the front page. And so my first thing is I go, okay. When was this made?
Reagan is old news. That's
right. When was this made? All right. So this is a game that's been in development for over a year. Okay. It literally can't be about the George Floyd / Breonna Taylor stuff and the COVID. It can't be. It doesn't make sense. The timing
makes no
doesn't
sense.
work.
Of course not.
Right?
That's ridiculous.
And it's made by French people in France. So it's not an American team either. So the natural benefit of the doubt feeling is like, wow, they do a lot of Tom Clancy stuff, and the Tom Clancy stuff does hedge really like authoritarian military by its brand, right? So they really just accidentally whatever, and then they just were dumbasses and didn't fix it when life started changing around them, right? I think that is way, way too much of a benefit of the doubt because it is a French game. Do you know what France fucking loves? Huge riots. France loves dudes on the street fighting cops with batons, riots. That is a cultural staple of France. That is absolutely likely what they're bringing that protest plot thing from, because France is a fucking protest riot country. They've got a long history of it. They killed all the royals, then they killed all the people who killed all the royals. It's a whole fucking thing,
heads
right?
rolled. But this is the
Number two, and this is the important thing, is that you look at the evil shadow organization, literally shadow organization. Umbra means shadow. And it has a big black fist. You go, wow, that's crazy, but it can't be about George or Brianna, right? But Ferguson was 2014. That was a long time ago. And civil unrest over the going-ons in regards to BLM down in the States has been a constant for like 10 years. The idea that they're
they didn't
put this shit in on purpose is absurd.
No. It is absolutely that at the time of writing a couple years ago, reading the future a little bit and going, well, the enemies of order here are the villains, and this is what this is where we're going, right? This is what makes sense, and this is how you have a homegrown enemy that's even scarier than a foreign one.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole thing. But like it's coming from that place for sure. But it's just one of those things where like sometimes you're a little too on the nose with anything you're making in this industry. And in this particular case, the fact that like no one would like even just take the route of the path of least resistance on this and be like, you know what, let's just be dumb and crazy and just go overboard and say, nope, we're gonna throw in all the white zombies to the front of that Resident Evil 5 trailer. We're gonna go over the top with correction on it, and just assume.
It's so overt, and the idea that no one said anything, that I have to believe that at least part of it is intentional. I mean, the thing that made me laugh the hardest watching that trailer was not the hilariously the actual Black Fist coming up and like raising in the goddamn graphic. It was that the name of the group is Umbra. That is, like, I don't know how good people's Latin is, but like Umbra means shadow, but it's also the blackest part of a shadow. And it's a synonym for other Latin words that mean black, that if you were to call your group that, people would go crazy.
So it's not even the fun words. Yes, the fun branch of language. To me, it's not that. To me, it's the narration, where you're looking at them and the narrator's basically like, yeah, these are anarchists. They're taking advantage of escalating civil unrest to generate more chaos and weaken governments. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, how did your HR department how did they let it rock? I don't know. It's wild. It's wild. But here we are, and they're like, yeah, we're sorry about that. We're changing the fist. It is what it is.
I need to find a screenshot from the Division's Division 2, which is the game they said wasn't political, right? Like, and it was like, Division 2 doesn't mean anything, despite it being about the Civil War in the United States. There's a fucking, oh, here it is. I found it. They said it's not political. It's not about anything. It's not pushing a message at all. And here is a real screenshot from the opening fucking, where is it? With no police to protect you. All right. This is literally the first 30 seconds of the game, Wolves. I would like you to describe what you see.
Did you own a gun? And it's a picture of a gun.
A giant screen-filling gun.
Look, I mean, here's the thing, right? You definitely can, because I've seen people going to the extremes about, like, you know, talking about like, hey man, these games appeal to a certain type of person, and they know their audience, and they know they
Wait,
know.
Just 1 second. Before you, here's the follow-up to that question.
Did you own a gun? Did you neighbor?
No, did your neighbor?
Did your neighbor own a gun? Oh, like, someone, yeah.
And then they're fighting over supplies.
You're
like,
right.
Ubisoft,
Okay.
You guys lie. Lie.
Right. So there's, like, you know, I think there's an over extreme argument about, like, you know, it's talking about, like, the types of audiences that this plays towards, and, you know, the people that are, like, you know, thrilled with that kind of trailer and that kind of bad guy, right? And I think that's a bit of an over exaggeration, because it's like, hey man, like, I now can say I've played a military shooter or two. I played Spec Ops. I thought that was a fun time.
There is an appeal to what I would call, like, military fetishism, like there is to, like, medieval fetishism or something.
And you don't have to exclusively lock that to a fucking boog boy or something. You know what I mean? Like, you don't got to go down that road. That's an extreme exaggeration. However, there is absolutely a line that, like, companies like Ubisoft, as you just pointed out, love to ride on, which is definitely a, like, hey, is that what I think it is? And then they're like, no, it's about nothing. It's not. There's nothing here. Apolitical. It's not about, you know, fuck anything in particular. It's just about fuck that general energy, you know? And you're like, you're keeping it vague enough that you have plausible deniability if anyone points at any one part and goes, what's up with that? But you know what you want the energy to be. And you put that in the game.
And you know what kind of energy you want to cater to, and what kind of, like, oh man, what do you want people to think is cool? Does the idea of getting Sam Fisher and a bunch of terrorists to light up a protest line give you a chub?
Fuck.
Like,
you know.
If so, we got a loot box for you, motherfucker.
Well, here's what's up, right? Once the game comes out, I'm sure you will see within 20 seconds, maybe even 45, you will see like the protest and or the Umbra whatever, and then you'll see a secret like back alley group of people like just beat an old lady down and then like shoot her and her dog, and then like take her money and then kick the body behind a dumpster and then join the protest.
So here's the thing, I don't know, man.
And they're gonna be like orders from on high, you know.
One of the weirdest things about The Division is that the dudes that were looting the food at the very beginning, like, they don't do anything before the game tells you to shoot them. Like, they're literally scavenging for food. And
so
your guy comes on the earpiece and goes, kill them, they're stealing.
So you think they won't even throw in a kitten test?
Dude, all I'm saying is that they have not bothered to in the past. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Foxcade, who is a funny guy and also a smart guy, for digging through old articles to find the gem that I just sent to you from August 9th, 2019, from the last interview with the Call of Duty devs that sums up this whole thing perfectly.
Infinity Ward says modern warfare isn't political. Developers want to examine topics like colonialism, proxy wars, and power imbalance in a totally non-political way. I mean, doesn't it actually, like, as much as you chortled to get fucking Call of Duty out of the way, is that Know Your History campaign moment not the full emblematic microcosm of this entire energy? It's like
Ubisoft's are more consistent and more outrageous, but like the Reagan shit is just like the fucking audacity.
Well, so
the audacity that you would bother to lie to me about this. Are you kidding me?
Dude, world history is hilarious because, like I said, it's just one of these things where you're looking at a very clear series of games for the longest while where they're like, look, man, World War I and II existed, World War II existed, and that is as black and white perfect for video games as you can get, because these Nazis
guys were bad, we were
the worst, but also they have very different equipment and guns from us.
Totally do.
So we can have two teams set up perfectly against each other. Axis versus
the 30
Allies
cal is not the same as the MG42.
Axis versus Allies, good to go forever. And then you have to start moving forward in time. And then you have to start pretending that clearly modern conflicts and political things are not political at all.
They're just as one-sided, man.
And so you have to have a giant billion-dollar company sitting there giving answers that David Cage would give when asked what his robot game is about.
The game is called Call of Duty Cold War. The Cold War. You mean the war that was nothing but proxy wars and ideological conflict between governing nations and proxy dictators? Are you fucking kidding me with this shit? Are you fucking for real?
How fucking sick would it be if an organization pops up called Umbra that starts making moves in real life? After
that reminds me of, actually, do you remember Archer season, I think 3 or 4, where Mallory
ISIS.
is like complaining about how they're removing the ISIS logo.
Yeah, ISIS. Yeah.
And it was like, because at their spy organization was called ISIS, and then ISIS fucking happened, and then they're writing the new season, and they're like, man, this shit is not funny anymore. Like, it's
weird.
just like,
it's definitely weird, and like, I mean, and it's one of those things where, like, yeah, from season 1 they had that there, you know, but and I know that, like, for a while there was that ISIS or ISIL was like being used either way, but yeah, it definitely no longer is the goddess in ancient Egypt anymore. That's gone.
Those jerks.
That shit is gone completely, you know. Anyway, yeah, that's just and it's not even like any relevant thing. It just happens to be the wrong acronym, and now that God's PR campaign is fucked forever.
You know what the best part about all this Elite Squad shit is? Is that I did see some people say that they downloaded it to try it, and the game's a piece of shit and won't load or work properly for most of them.
Damn. Well, if you do get it working and or boot this up and play it, do let me know from start to Umbra kicks a puppy right in the scrot. I want to know. I want to know how fast it happens and how loudly the dog yips as your main character squad zooms in on the puppy being kicked.
I want to know how many microtransaction turns it takes before Sam Fisher says that tear gas ain't cutting it and we need to kick up to live ammunition to really give it to Umbra.
Yeah. Let's find out. Let's get the countdown to find out, like, is Willie Pete ever a discussion that occurs? Who knows? Here's the other thing. What's the countdown to? What's the countdown to Umbra, like, fucking offing an old lady and kicking her puppy? Or what is the countdown to the criminals we have on our team are just criminals of circumstance, but what they did, any normal person decent would have done.
So that's not going to happen because the criminals on the team are like fucking Tom Clancy villains.
Okay.
And Tom Clancy villains are like gang members or terrorists or cartel members. There's absolutely no in between. Like, one of the funniest things is that there's a I think she's Brazilian. One of the Rainbow Six operators. I think her name is Caveira. I forget. She's the woman with the skull mask, like skull paint.
Okay.
The idea that character would like coexist with a cartel member for more than 1 second is so ridiculous. So the idea is like, well, this New World Order protest group has to be more dangerous than even your most mortal enemies.
The unifying threat, of course. Yeah.
End of days as we know it. Umbra.
It really is the extra fucking icing layer of, and so we sent in the criminals to do the good guy's job. We sent in the Suicide Squad.
There's a shot of like when they say like we're not going to win this playing by the rules, it's like 10 dudes in a boardroom looking at a screen of terrorists going, which one do we send, guys? And it's like I don't think even in the most peaceful of times that would have played correctly.
Yeah.
Like more than anything, I guess if I want to sum it up, like my feelings towards like Activision and Call of Duty and Ubisoft is that it's so tiring when they're like, we're not trying to say anything. And it's like, I think everyone knows exactly what you're trying to say. You're just too embarrassed to actually say it. It would be less tiring if you just came out and said it.
I'd say that's on point. I also have a second thought, distant though it may be, is that I kind of have a wistful nostalgia for something that never happened. I'm yearning for the days where this news story would have not been that the trailer came out, but where the days where this news story would have been a group of about 30 to 50 protesters in the middle of a real march. Turns out they were actually a paid flash mob to advertise Elite Squad.
Oh my god.
We're marching alongside.
Just wait.
They were paid advertisers marching alongside the real protest, and they were saying "Hail Umbra" on their signs, and no one quite knew what they were talking about, but it was conspicuous when the camera crew came up and started filming them.
Oh man. Yeah, we're not that far away from that, are we?
And then it's reported on mainstream news, and then they're like, "Hey, yo, yeah, we didn't. Sorry, guys. Sorry that as they were being chased away and or arrested, they shouted available in stores September 18th before they got shoved in the back of a van." I'm mournful of those days being gone, because that's the version of this story that I feel in my heart.
Yeah.
The flash mob for hire.
The fake Christian protest against Dante's Inferno is the one that always stems in my head.
Dude, I didn't even know that happened.
Oh, you didn't?
No. What is
that?
There
was a fake Christian protest that EA hired to campaign outside of E3 the year Dante's Inferno got announced.
Incredible. Yeah. And like, I want to see a list. I want to see those protesters like from a casting sheet, a nice, perfect representation of everybody, all creeds, colors, races, and sizes, and just doing that Kylie Jenner coke walk, through the protest.
I don't know why she's staying at home. Why doesn't she just give the police Coke or Pepsi? Was it a Pepsi?
I don't even.
Why don't she just give them that, and then we can pack this shit up and go home? This is really all Kylie Jenner's fault.
Ubi, that's a free marketing campaign. If you haven't cashed it in already, what are you doing? I'm available all day. That's woolly marketing right there. So
I felt like I was losing my mind watching that trailer. I thought I was being goofed on. Like
the sound of pushing Call of Duty out of the way is fucking
get out of here. Who even cares? So my favorite experience from Elite Squad, and it was really genuinely a joy to experience, was I vaguely posted about it. I did not say the Elite Squad trailer. I was like, oh my god, Ubisoft, what the fuck are you doing? Yada yada. And then I got to watch my mentions, because my mentions then right into what are you talking about? And then 10 minutes later, they became, oh god. Like, Pat, how bad could it be? Oh my god. Just like 10 times. Just getting to see just the live, just...
Yeah. Yeah. And whatever you want to fucking argue about, about political unrest, is Ubisoft's take really the one you want to hear?
Need I remind anyone who didn't watch me cover Gamescom, they played the trailer for Hyperscape, and all I had to say about Hyperscape was, I wonder how many people that worked on this will have to be fired before it's released because they are rapists. That company?
When you think about it, aren't Umbra aren't they really just the kids from Watch Dogs 2?
Yeah.
Are you not just going in and lighting up the protagonists?
Ubi is
from
trying to play
the
both
game
sides
that
on
they
this.
like, is Watch Dogs 2 not entirely the energy of the fucking anarchists rising up? Let's go.
The government's gone too far. We gotta fucking do something about it. We gotta use our robots and our technology.
Isn't it just
to
DedSec?
fuck up shit on social media?
Umbra's just DedSec. They're sending in the elite squad to shoot the evil anarchists.
Yeah, they're sending in the fucking Rainbow Six attack ops to take out the fucking hipster gang from Frisco.
2 games ago, you were like, "Fuck the authority, fuck the man, stupid cops."
Hey,
DedSec.
I want you to think real hard about this. We've
Holy
got the
shit, it just
Division,
occurred to me.
Elite Squad, and Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs Legion, which has become a fucking homegrown terrorist in the UK game. Because police surveillance is out of control.
Damn. You know what the fucking... Yo, okay, level 2... is you get the fucking staged protest flash mob in there. Level 3 is people playing Watch Dogs are online playing against people playing Elite Squad. And then you can have your virtual political battles taking place on Uplay.
And then step 4, when you log into a match and you're playing Elite Squad and the other guys are playing Watch Dogs, when you match up 5v5, everybody gets to see each other's addresses.
For sure. But only...
Just cuz.
But only if you spend enough U-Bucks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you unlock that pass.
You buy your micro crystals and you spend your U-Bucks to unlock addresses and docs information.
No, it's Wooly, that's an ugly word. It's the deniable ops extreme points. Okay?
Excuse me.
Deniable ops extreme. Okay?
Excuse me.
You don't use the acronym.
Sorry.
You pay for your DOX pass every season. And then you can see where the DedSec players are.
You sell to both sides and let them have virtual warfare on your servers, and you trickle out microtransactions, and this is how the culture proceeds.
And with every Tom Clancy game, you get a $20 voucher off your next gun.
I mean, listen, if you want the day 1 DLC, you better come strapped. Legally, of course. War has changed.
Oh, man.
Done.
Everything's
done.
Ubisoft and Activision are up their own ass. News at 11.
Speaking of up their own ass, now Dragon Ball FighterZ got an update. If you rage quit, you get banned for a week. If you rage quit persistently, you will eventually get banned indefinitely. And that's the decision. And if you are somebody who's having connection problems and it's not based on voluntary disconnection, then they kind of say, please check your settings and be sure. But this is what they're doing. So no jail, just get the fuck off, play offline.
Bye. Good, great, fantastic. Oh, hey, I have a slight piece of news about Elite Squad. Actual news.
Oh.
Coming from Jason Schreier, which I have to look at in incognito mode because he blocked me on Twitter. So Ubisoft internally, quote, let's see, I am sincerely exhausted by everything related to Ubisoft, but also the director and manager of the studio behind Elite Squad. His name is 𝙲𝚕𝚕𝚍. who is the son of 𝙲𝚘𝚕𝚕𝚍, and graduated university in 2014, and then was immediately given the job of studio manager of Elite Squad.
Joffrey, what's up?
So,
nice.
Bonus.
Nice.
Bonus. Daddy's boy got to make the terror game.
I like that. Get in there, kid. You've earned it.
All right. So, back to jail with you, DBZ players. Stay in jail.
Hey, man. Just because daddy runs shit doesn't mean I don't know how to also run shit too. In fact,
now let's put out the trailer for this game. Oh God.
In fact, France is a big fan of letting the family continue to run shit. Are they not?
They are. There's a real long history of the French familial meritocracy system.
Good word.
Yeah, I'm proud of how I came up with it on the spot, because I sure didn't want to use the real word.
Strong. Okay. Well,
you know what the funniest thing about that, though? You know, Ryuji Sugimoto. He's the he's the Monster Hunter man.
Mm-hmm.
He's the son of CEO of Capcom,
Mm-hmm.
Kenzo Sugimoto.
Yeah. How's Monhun doing?
Great.
Yeah. How about that?
Literally the most profitable thing ever.
Interesting.
Cool.
Ask me about Colin Hanks.
I don't know who that is. Who's Colin Hanks?
Pretty good actor.
Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
So we talked we talked about press nothing to let the CIA ravage the hood with crack to fund the foreign wars.
Yeah, press F to sell nukes to Iran.
So that's fine. Here's what we can talk about. I had a question this week. I think I got my answer, but if you've got a take on it, by all means, fill me in. What the fuck is Serious Sam?
It's a throwback shooter.
Okay, because I've heard about Serious Sam.
Not the best throwback shooter.
I've heard about Serious Sam for years, but I've never looked at it twice.
I would recommend Dusk or a Medieval over it.
Hey, honestly, I love Dusk.
Yeah, Dusk's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Serious Sam people were like, "Yo, hey, check it out. You can find out for yourself." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." So, I'm curious because what's clear is whatever it was, it's definitely not what that trailer is now, in which Serious Sam gets into the Popemobile.
That's right.
Which can only be described as a Mech Warrior 2 style BattleTech mecha, traditional American almost. And then he just starts shooting the monsters.
Yeah,
and you're piloting the mecha. And I was like, hey, that's
like the Pope would have done.
Yeah. And then the cockpit opens, and there's a cross in the way that the cockpit opens, and they've got a little rosary hanging up top. And I believe the line is, let God sort them out. So I like
it's kind of hilarious that like if you
games.
put like an irreverent religious reference in something, like your head just tilts on a swivel.
Super in. Way
like
in. Way in. Cast in the name of God, ye not guilty. Big O. We have come to terms. Get the fuck in. That shit rules. I unironically love that big, dumb religious energy when used to juxtapose a giant robot.
Yeah, you know that's only going to be like one level, right? Most of it's going to be shooting those guys that yell at you even though they don't have any heads.
I certainly hope it'll be more than that. But if it is, then I'll check out that one level. Yeah, you want to make me love the Bible? This is how you do it. But it's the same reason why little Pat Jr. got into fucking Xenogears.
No, that's not why.
Okay.
The reason I got into Xenogears is because it had a 4 out of 5 on an official PlayStation magazine and was a new Squaresoft RPG, and I was going to buy all of those.
Okay, but you told me the reason why you loved Xenogears was the similar reason why you loved Ava, in that it went into the rad remix of Christian mythology.
Oh, it also went way into psychology, which is like embarrassing to admit that a lot of my desire to go into psych is because I played Xenogears when I was 11 years old.
You're right, that is embarrassing.
But yeah, no, it was cool. Attack and dethrone God, Wooly. It's the nature of our generation.
So, you know, that flavor.
We need to do it.
Yeah, that flavor is going to work for me. But it's also going to work when you go pro God in a ridiculous super tech way, or you know, beyond the grave, whatever. Cowboy zombie.
Also, that game had a bitchy redhead in it, so I was like, cool.
Either way, I remember specifically walking downtown as you were describing the parts of that game that were like Japan fucking with the Bible for cool points as some of the strongest stuff that you thought was good in it.
Oh, all the stuff about the Zohars, the crazy shit.
So
you talk to God in that game, like actual real ass God. It's crazy.
That's sick. Well, I mean, no one's gonna outdo SMT, but you know, I will say.
I mean, that's not fair. You get to punch God, and he's a big head.
In part 1, how do you live that down? How do you?
Well,
how
no,
do
that
you
was part 1. That was part 2. Part 2, it was a big head.
What? 1 was the build up to it.
No, 1 was the final boss was Michael,
the angel, right? And then in 2, it's Yahweh.
Yeah, and 2, it's the big head.
Yeah. There you go. Right. Okay, all right. Fair enough. Sorry, my mistake. So, what then will the rest of this game be? Walking back and shooting against ridiculous crowds?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
In big open areas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much. There's going to be guys that have bombs on their hands, they have no heads, and they run at you and they go, ah, as you can see from the chat, just spamming ah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's Serious Sam.
Okay.
The whole point about Serious Sam is that you're fighting like a shit zillion enemies. Oh, god damn it, Eli. You just put up a sexy drawing of 𝙳𝚘𝚘𝚘 with the title of his YouTube video being, I know nothing about 𝙳𝚘𝚘𝚘.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they designed 𝙳𝚘𝚘𝚘 to be that way on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Shy Gal thing. You know?
I don't think they designed 𝙳𝚘𝚘𝚘 to look like this on purpose, Wolves.
Okay, well. Other trailers. Other trailers include Bushiden. It's a pretty cool SNES looking ninja platformer, and I remember seeing this somewhere. I think I saw a booth for it. Might have been at a PAX or so, but it looks fucking rad, and it looks like it's got Contra Alien
Man,
Wars
that looks
energy.
so much like a fucking Super Nintendo game.
Yeah. Hagane, Contra, a lot of just
Too
all
much
that
animation though.
But it looks sick. It looks sick, and lots of abilities on display, and it's just like yeah, the time is right for that. Mm-hmm. Always got space to check out a SNES throw up ninja game. So Bushiden looks pretty rad. Check that out. They showed off Transient, which is careful. Transient was being pitched as a cyber Lovecraftian game. Not much to make out from just the kind of theme trailer, but from the creators of Conarium.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah. They're saying cyber Lovecraftian.
Okay. I'm in on that.
It's a tone teaser more than anything. So you just lots of key visuals to kind of like just whatever, set up what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
let me take a look at this.
It looked interesting.
Transient game adventure. Let's see. Let's take a look at this trailer. Come on, move. No, I don't care about your fucking H.P. Lovecraft quote. Just show me your video game. God damn it. The fucking screenshots won't even load up. This is
Well, anyway, you can check the trailer, but it's I'd like to see where you're going with this. It's Cthulhu with wires, you know?
I mean, yeah. There's no reason Cthulhu can't live in the cyberpunk future. He is unknowable.
We got to take a look at a little bit more of Doom Eternal.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer for The Ancient Gods dropped, and or rather, I think it was a follow-up trailer. And yeah, it's Sam's talking. He's you're seeing some new enemies. You're seeing stuff. Doom looks like more Doom. Seems cool.
I want to find out. I want to talk more with Sam.
Yep. And the person who made the music in Dusk, I believe, is making the music here.
Good choice. Extremely good choice.
So, we'll see. We'll see.
Also, the DLC is playable without the main game.
Oh.
Like it's a standalone game.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Huh, so they're selling it as a mini buy. It's a mini buy.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a history of being very okay with those. I like when they do standalone separate things. That's okay. It worked out cool with Case Zero, and
well, Case Zero is a different thing because Case Zero is better than the game it was advertising.
Sure, but then also there was whatchamacallit, the Ascreed one. Fuck.
My
Blood
friend Dragon?
No. My friend voice acted the main guy in it.
Oh god. Freedom's Cry?
Yeah. Tristan, he did
okay,
he's the voice. Yeah, he was the voice actor of 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So straight up, like, you got these little mini games that are like, yeah, it's a micro, whatever. I'm cool with that. That's fine. That's pretty neat. I'm down with the self-contained. Yeah. Shoutouts to
I should have played that. 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍 was a good character. I liked him. I also liked boats.
You check out you see the Scarlet Nexus stuff?
It's definitely not Code Vein. Shh.
No, it ain't. Second trailer, very pretty visuals. Definitely more like more going on there. Still, same general feeling about it, which is this looks interesting. It feels like they put anime faces on some crazy ass Tron shit, and we'll have to see. The only thing we're missing is like the 45-minute first hour of gameplay or whatever the case is. Just to kind of see what the flow of it is like. But visually very interesting and pretty. And
hope it plays a little chunkier than Code Vein.
One would hope.
because Code Vein was cool, but it was like a little flaccid, a little noodly,
And
a little ropey.
if you're talking about big old anime games, you definitely can't ignore Genshin Impact, which we've been hearing about for a while now from Shanghai studio. I forget the name. But Genshin Impact is the...
I feel like I've been seeing that forever.
So Genshin Impact is the one that's been auto-compared to Breath of the Wild every time it comes up.
Yeah, because it shares some similarities.
It's mainly visual and the cooking. The world, the bright colors of the world and the cooking do have that similarity.
The way
to
the
it.
grass kind of looks.
There's stuff there. It's not a warrantless comparison. However, it does seem like
unlike Breath of the Wild, it's anime.
It's full RPG at the very least. Or rather, no, that's not true. It's action RPG. But yeah, we got to see another look at that, and there's multiple party members and other stuff going on with it. I know that when it first dropped, there was like pictures of people holding up their Switch with a middle finger to the display of the game with Breath of the Wild running, just being like, "Fuck you, you ripoffs." And like I think a big part of that is that the first screenshot was main character overlooking the bright world that was similar to Link overlooking the ledge, you know?
I mean, it's superficially similar. I'm looking at it now, like the palette they're using for the bricks and shit. I get it. And the angle you fire a bow and arrow at, but like superficially similar. Inspired by at best, you know? Like I also watched I think one of the devs put out like a combo video for it. And it was like hilarious and like it looks like an anime game.
Yeah. And like there was other more superficial like comparisons in the sense of like the meter, the bar, the circular kind of bar, you know, and again the cooking comes up and a couple other little things. Although this game has like full towns and cities and other environments that, you know, otherwise are its own thing. But yeah, that first screenshot and that art style and the colors, like it's the thing that the brain jumps to right away. But then the rest of it seems like it's doing its own thing.
But also, let's be real. Let's just assume it's a fucking huge Breath of the Wild ripoff, right? I could go for a couple Breath of the Wild ripoffs.
It's a good thing to rip off.
Like there haven't been any yet.
It's not a bad thing to rip off.
Like I could go for a couple.
Although this is also on phones, it's not just a console game.
Oh, is this made by the Honkai Third Impact people? That would explain the anime.
Honkai Impact, Genshin Impact, yeah.
Oh, okay. This is not the Honkais. This is the... Oh my goodness. I drive poor 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍. I drive him so crazy because I always get the Honkai fucking ads on my goddamn on my thing, and it always looks like a character action game with the anime. And I DM him and I go, dude, what's the deal with Honkai Third Impact? And he tells me every time, and I go, maybe I'll try that. And then he loses his shit because I think that's the 4th time I asked him last time, and I just never try it because it's like a gacha game for anime.
Know nothing about it.
What's up with it though?
𝚲𝚘𝚘 is the name of the company. And if we pull them up real quick, they are responsible for Honkai Impact 3rd, Gun Girls, and Collapse Gakuen.
Oh man, I bet Gun Girls is big anime.
It's girls with a Z.
Oh, of course it is. How stupid of me. Oh, yeah. All Chapter of Memories. Is this a visual fucking novel? What is this? Well, you know what the funniest thing is?
Are we
you
in
know
the
how
gacha
we know
hole?
what? What's that?
Are we in the gacha hole?
Yeah, maybe. I was about to say, like, we know what an anime is. I've seen an anime. And every time I think I know what anime is, I find out that there are literally 100 million more animes that I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
That this thing, it looks at anime right. Holy shit, I saw what the game looks like. Holy crap, that's hilarious.
Here's how many animes there are. Do you remember back in college when we were keeping up with the seasons and we were just
Here's a straight shot of Gun Girls.
Remember when we were just about on top of everything that was coming out? Mm-hmm. Whoa. Okay. Well, yep. That's a game on the phone. And there's 𝙲𝚘𝚘𝚘. Wow, Plague. All right.
Yeah, she's drawn like that on purpose, right, Wolves?
I mean, huh. There's a little bit of hair in places I didn't expect it.
But she's a cat.
She is. All right. Cheers. Well, anyway, I noticed that abs were also inserted into the equation, which I have no complaints about. But back to anime, there was a time when the seasons were coming out and staying afloat took a lot of effort, but it was a thing that could be done. Every year since those college days has been another season of anime, and it has been about 17 years since those college days.
But I don't even mean just the anime that's actually an anime. I mean like the phone thing and the car and the Hatsune Miku's.
Mm-hmm. Anime,
and they're all anime.
Anime as a movement.
I turn around and there's an anime behind me right now waiting to anime at me.
Steve?
Yeah, Steve Buscemi's there. He could be anime.
He's got the eyes for it.
He sure does.
Hey, so Honker Impact. Right on.
You mean Genshin Impact?
Yes. Yes. There's your anime. They showed off the fucking. So there's this Lord of the Rings Gollum thing going on as well. The trailer.
Oh yeah, the stealth game. Yeah.
What? Why would what? For what reason? Like, I
New Line
understand.
Cinema still holds the license.
And I understand that clearly, after we went all the ways we went with the Lord of the Rings franchise in video games, that they really want to hold on to that, keep the IP going, and keep the games hot and out of the oven. Lord of the Rings as a video game franchise it's kind of some goofy shit. But really, is Gollum gonna be the story to follow through on a video game with? Is that actually interesting enough to go through on?
No.
I don't get it.
Of course not. They fucked up the Shadow of War series, so they gotta try something new.
Like, you might as well go make a fucking Ent game about forest management and just hang out with the Ents.
Yeah, okay. That'd be pretty good. I mean, I think there was an Ent faction in one of them Lord of the Rings like RTS games.
Sure.
Or you could actually just play the fucking the tree guy in Warhammer. Yeah, you could play the tree guy.
I think everyone would be more excited to play as a tree guy than as Gollum. I think that is a 100% on the poll.
I think you're not wrong. I think you're dead on.
Yeah.
I would rather play as tree guy 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍 than Gollum.
I mean, it's either go that way or follow down or triple down on sexy 𝙲𝚘𝚕𝚍.
If you know what I'm saying.
Never forget. Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, it certainly was, but we got past it.
Because there's just a sentence that was uttered like, what if 𝙲𝚘𝚘 was actually super hot? And people went, yeah, fuck it.
Well, because all spiders have to be spider ladies, right?
Yeah. But she's not even spider-ish in her human lady-looking form. She's just hot.
All spiders have to be spider ladies.
Is there... Wait. 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚕𝚍 goth GF? Is that what we're going with?
I don't know if that's a thing yet.
𝚳𝚘𝚕𝚍 spider, but she's also evil. It's goth. Does this joke work?
I don't think so. But you have to work it. You've got to put the legwork in.
Well, you know who has a lot of legs for legwork? Spiders.
I'm literally bumping the ball. I'm bunting it at you. Arachnera.
All I can think of right now
Black Arachnia.
is Eric Andre making fun of, I forget who the fuck it was. It's like, what's up with her on the beach? She's got like 8 tits like a dog. And then just turning to Hannibal. He's just like, nah, man. What do you say? Like, I would... have you seen Eric Andre's new stand-up special?
I haven't.
Because I really hope it's literally just an hour and a half of that. Like, just total bomb failure stand-up. I would kill for that.
Best spider lady, the Stalk from Saga. End of discussion. So,
how do I write that? How do I find a picture of that? The
THE space STALK.
Saga. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm not down with that.
I don't know what kind of image results you're gonna get.
That's a no thanks from me.
She wins. She wins.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, no, you got to see all of it. You got to scroll down a little bit more to see all of it.
What about her? What about good old Kellogg's?
I'm going stock 10 out of 10 times.
All right. That's okay.
She's also fucking awesome. But yeah. Okay, so we got Scarlet Nexus, we got Genshin Impact. There was a trailer for, again, Quantum Error. Not much to go on, just a tone trailer again. Big spookies. Big spookies, gun shooting at the spookies.
Dude, I watched almost all of these and I can't remember a single one.
It was the one...
Oh, Quantum Error is the one that I thought was legitimately Doom 3 for a while.
It's the one in all the shadows where you're shooting the gun and then there's the lady and then the helicopter men.
It literally looks just like Doom 3. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, big horror lighting. FPS Dead Space?
Yeah, I guess.
Sure.
It just looks like Doom 3. Like a Doom 3 knockoff from like 15 years ago.
Although there's one section that cuts to what might be the main character, I assume, because he looks like fucking shave head soldier man.
Yeah, from back in the day.
And I'm like, hey, you are the protagonist of this era, so sure. Yeah, I don't know if that scratches your
it does not.
Space horror itch, but
no sir.
Okay.
Did you see the Ratchet and Clank new gameplay?
I didn't watch it. I saw the trailer available, but I didn't click the button.
It wasn't new. It was the same demo.
Oh, well, hey. Thank you.
And then it ended with the same... It ended with the same exact reveal of the Lady Ratchet. And then Jeff Keighley was like, so we gonna get a name? And they're like, no. And then the Gamescom ended.
I'm glad I didn't click the button.
That's literally how it ended.
I already saw that.
He's like, hey, do we have something to tell people? No. Show over.
Damn. Get owned at your own show, dude.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Okay, here's what's cool.
Tell me something that's cool.
I like the fact that Age of Empires is back. People are playing...
Yeah, Age of Empires is cool.
Competitive Age of Empires again. And I think it's really cool that they're playing 2 and the trailer for 3 dropped here. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Bringing of Empires
back
is cool.
Age of Empires. Hell yeah. I don't know how this kind of got started again. Was it? I guess it was just the HD re-releases, right? Like
the HD re-releases was really popular.
I just the fact that like people went, fuck it, we're gonna play some proper competitive Age of Empires in this day and age, and the game still rules.
Well, they're not making new RTSs, so
they're
we might
not.
as well just go play old ones.
And you know what? It still fucking rules. That Age of Empires is the shit.
When are we gonna get a Rise of Nations re-release? If you remember that one.
Didn't play it.
Oh, it's cool. It's like Age of Empires, but much faster.
I played Age 1 and 2 the most, and I played Age 3 a little bit, and that's it.
Yeah, I only played a little bit of Age 3.
But this trailer looks fucking sick, and there's 2 new races, which we could, like, it's factions, races. They're races. The Inca and the Swedes.
Oh, the Swedes!
The Swedes!
Ah, bork your way around the world.
Take that, Swedes! Woo!
Listen, I'm friends with a Swedish person, and he told me that when we're not looking, all they say is bork. It's true. It's basically Swedish chef time. Thanks, Ludwig.
Hold on.
He let me in on the secret, and now I'm letting you all in on it.
What does the trailer call them? Does it say races or cultures?
I bet it says factions, cultures.
Shit, hold on. I gotta scrub for it. Cross-platform as well. Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Awesome.
That's nice.
Naval warfare. Yo, building wonders is the shit. And I don't feel like I've had that excitement in like other games for a long time.
Did you ever get into Civ ever?
Not that much. My cousin had it, and I did play it on my cousin's computer, but I didn't get into it. Civilizations, they're called civilizations, not races.
Because I always was more into Civ than I was into Age of Empires, because the RTS aspect of the game always made me nervous. Like having to do it fast rather than doing it per turn.
Yeah, high APM destroyed me on these games. I always got very nervous and scared. In particular, I always talk about World of Warcraft 3 just destroying me. I was able to keep up with StarCraft. I was able to play...
I want to kill myself over what you just said.
Hey, I played.
Did you hear what you just said?
What did I say?
You said World of Warcraft 3.
Oh, that's bad. That's not good. Blizzard won. They won.
They super won, dude.
They won. Oh my god. Guys, I'm sorry.
Successfully erased that old franchise.
They did it. They wiped it out. It's gone. How long were we talking about Warcraft when WoW came out?
A while.
10 years? maybe.
Oh, yeah.
How long have we been talking about World of Warcraft?
15 years. 2004, so coming up on 16.
Successfully erased. Damn.
And then Reforged came out and fully buried that shit.
Well, yeah, Warcraft 3 is where they lost me in my.
Oh yeah, the
ability to
micro
keep
and the
up.
heroes, right?
Couldn't do it. The hero system
Yeah.
was too much for me. But I was able to keep up with like Red Alert and StarCraft and Brood Wars just fine, you know. Yeah, Age was the shit. Shoutouts to the fucking car. The car cheat ruled.
Oh, what's the car cheat?
You could fucking bring a car in and drive it around, and it was a million times faster and better than horses. It was one of the best units in the world. And you're driving, and then a bunch of fucking priests are like, hi-yo, whoa, oh.
Just run them over.
And you just fucking like, who gives a shit? I got a car. It was great.
Kono Dio da Volkswagen. Nailed it. Man, you know what? Like, I mean, we've talked about the rise and fall and rise and fall and rise of fighting games. Fuck, did RTS rise and fucking fall?
It evolved into MOBA.
Yeah, but like that old style is dead.
It is, but there's at least a butterfly from the cocoon.
Yeah,
If
the MOBAs killed it.
like, I don't know, man. I would be a little less salty if there was a successor genre that came directly from the thing. So Team Fortress and team-based shooters and Counter-Strike and shit, right? Replacing a lot of the old giant FPS campaigns is a direct follow-up on the genre, you know?
Well, I mean,
I get
fighting
it.
games came from brawlers. No, wait, brawlers came from fighters, and then character action came from brawlers.
Yeah, character action came from beat 'em ups, and fighting games also came from beat 'em ups. But whatever, if fighting games were to take on another form, I don't know. I'd have to see if I have fun with it or not. But you know, Smash it's going its own fucking direction, certainly. And now Smash clones are a thing, and they're they're definitely like derived from the fighting games, but they're doing their own thing. Yeah. I don't know. It feels like a natural progression. That being said, if I was way into the RTS genre, I would probably be like pretty upset that they died off, though. Yeah, I was into like a couple of really good ones. I was around enough to enjoy Command and Conquer, StarCraft, little bit of Warcraft.
And that was the golden era, man.
And that was it. I didn't play Warcraft 1 and 2. I got nothing on.
So Warcraft 1 is like a bad game. Like Warcraft 1 is like bad. Warcraft 2, Warcraft 2 kicks ass. But then StarCraft is like, okay, shut up.
Well,
shut up. It's time for StarCraft.
Here comes Jim Raynor.
This is Jimmy. You ever play the Dawn of War games?
No, but I worked next to a competitive Dawn of War player who told me ad nauseum about them.
Because there's like, that series is really depressing because there's like 8 or 9 really great ones, and then Dawn of War 3 is so bad that the franchise might as well be dead.
I have Dawn of War knowledge like a girlfriend watching their boyfriend play for a while. Like, I've heard so much about it, and on a deep competitive level, and I've heard about the most interesting things with it, but I've never touched it.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. And I was sharing Third Strike knowledge with him, and he was getting really into Makoto, so it was like that. I don't know. I like the fact that there's a whole lot of races in it.
You mean civilizations?
Civilizations. Yeah, Age of Empires 3 is back, and that's fucking sick. Super dope there. That's some good news. Override 2, there's a trailer for the sequel to that mecha game. Unfortunately, no gameplay. It's just a cinematic robot trailer. But hey, Modus, good stuff. I'm surprised it's getting a direct sequel. I guess it did okay, and people enjoyed it. So that's rad. I'm all about fucking getting some robot games in there. I await gameplay. They teased something called Chorus, which is Star Fox third-person shmup.
Has a really unclear title.
Is it a V or a U?
I think it's a U.
It's a U on
but
the
I thought it was a V.
Yeah. It definitely, the font choice makes it look like it's going to be Corvus. But yeah, it reminds me actually a lot of Aces of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if anybody remembers, Project Sylphid. It's a lot like Project Sylphid.
Man, that's a long time since I heard anybody talk about Project Sylphid. You remember the last time they brought one of those out? They brought it during E3 week so that it couldn't be reviewed in time because it was such trash.
Reset the clock on references to Project Sylphid.
No one cares about that clock. No one gives a... Oh, my God.
Square couldn't get further away from it.
Get the fuck out of here, Project Sylphid. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, but Churches with the V, similar energy. Chorus with the V. There was a short tease for something called 12 Minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's more or less the same tease we saw, I want to say at E3. Well, not E3, but whatever the fuck the E3 equivalent was.
This is, to me, this is a reveal. I didn't know what this was.
Oh, no, it was almost the same trailer. It's a 12-minute time loop in your apartment, which seems to get home invaded.
Yeah, and it seems like it's got James McAvoy, Disley Rady
Skywalker,
and Willem Dafoe are cast, and the shot is like straight above, perfect perspective, looking down on the room. If I did see this in the stream, I don't remember.
Yeah, people. This is the weirdest thing ever that exists in our life, which is you don't remember it, but other people remember you seeing it.
Dude, I played a fucking fighting game called Umineko, and I'm like, what is this game? And everyone's like, you literally played it on fisticuffs. We watched you pick these characters and play. And I'm like, it's gone. It's completely gone.
It's just gone.
So, if I saw this 12 minutes thing, it's gone. It looks cool. I like that Smash TV perfect top-down 3-point perspective look. All the walls are vanishing into a perfect point.
So that game, if it maintains that perspective for the whole game, I feel like there's a real big moment they could do where all they have to do is move the camera like a little.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go, oh shit, you know.
It's really interesting, and no one uses this camera much because usually it's like static, and it's the most static and bland way to kind of tell a story, right? Mm-hmm. But something about this that's particular, if when you do architectural design, is so if you look at the rooms, right? Every room you're looking at a perfect top down. If you were to take the corners of the walls in every room and line them up, they all create a line that is a perfect X to the middle of the screen. Mm-hmm. So your eye unconsciously will be always drawn to the center of the room, and it will be the tension point. So
so
you
where
can,
the action happens or not.
Yeah, it's a very interesting and cool choice if you do play with that. And yeah, you can't see faces really clearly. You can just see bodies and people, and heads moving, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 12 minutes.
I bet that game's going to be longer than 12 minutes.
Well, yeah, it's a 12-minute loop.
Yeah. Very few games use that gimmick. I'm very interested in games that use that gimmick. There was a game that I liked that used that gimmick, and I'm sad because I can never play it again. It's sad.
Time loops are really good for video games. You can
I like time loops.
Time loops are good. Time loops are good. Oh yeah, there's minute. That's true.
Minute.
Majora's Mask.
Why use big word when small word good too?
Do trick. Small word do trick.
I think I was scrolling past my Twitter the other day and I saw some research article that says that using big words that make you look smart when normal words will do is actually a sign of low intelligence. And by correlation, I'm saying that if you use small words when you probably should use big words, that means you're actually high intelligent, smart.
I have talked about this before, but one of the funniest things about Jamaican culture is when someone is an idiot, but they're trying to sound sophisticated. And they will suddenly start speaking like this, sir. I need to let you know and understand that I comprehend the information which you are trying to give me. However...
Oh my god, that's such a specific accent you're creating.
It is Jamaican trying to sound like American or like proper, and then it's using large words to say nothing. And you're just making a verbose argument, and it's fucking hilarious because my aunts do it, and I've watched all members of my family go into that shit, and it's like, you said nothing there. You've communicated no point, but you think that tone sounds very official, and if you sound very official, then people will have to take your word as authority.
So I can definitely confirm that while that particular accent is probably almost certainly specific to Jamaicans, that attitude is not specific to that, because I have heard that from my French relatives.
Of course.
I've heard that from, like, I'm sure everybody has heard that. So just get whatever the fuck the fanciest language you can get.
But
to
you know
sound
how
smart, but you're actually dumb.
You know how patois is like a novelty to you guys, and how you're like, oh, that's a funky person from Jamaica that's got some flavor to them, right?
Yeah,
There's a little bit of spice in this otherwise, like, whatever. That when you live on an island where everybody sounds that way, that's not special at all anymore. That's just the way
absolutely.
Language is. So
I think the funniest thing ever is like Americans. They see our Yankee viewers will see, oh, French girls. Oh my God, the French is so hot. I'm like,
yeah.
Whatever.
It's just whatever. So
that's how women sound.
When everybody sounds that like that, and everyone's got that accent, and you don't have any of that novelty that you currently feel, then the only way to sound, above is to like suddenly code switch your voice into something more official and more colonial, as it were, yeah,
like when Paige is like, I'm a Anglophone Quebecer, so when I'm talking to Paige and her fucking Southern Illinois like bullshit language comes out, I'm like, oh, that's cute, even though it's like, trash language.
That was the perfect distance.
I know, right? Was that not the perfect distance?
There you go.
Love you, darling.
Shit, there was another thing about language that what was you brought up? What did you
I was talking about Yankees think French sounds hot.
Before that,
Before that,
what led me into bringing up that?
The accents that you're describing is definitely specific to Jamaicans, but like the attitude of just, you know, go for the classiest, smartest sounding thing you can sound like because you're actually dumb is definitely universal. Before that,
Shit, it's gone. Yeah, there was another thing, but anyway, fuck. Okay, whatever. I got it.
Language is hilarious and wonderful, and it's an easy way to tease the British, because have you heard them? Oh my god. They sound like fucking cartoons.
Yes, but we still spell ORs with OUR.
Well, yeah, that's because the Americans don't know how to spell those words.
It's Webster's fault, apparently.
Yeah.
Center. Centre.
Okay, I actually disagree with the center. The center thing is upsetting.
I mean, it's just... Look, there's some shit... Every language has its messes. It was apparently Webster who changed everything up when making the American dictionary. And from that point forward, color had no U. So this was brought on by the fact, by the way, that last week the spelling of the word paycheck was with a QUE, and that fucked some people up.
Yeah, because a check is CHEQUE.
QUE.
It's a check, not a check mark, dumbasses.
But in America, it's a CHECK.
Yeah, well, they say drive through without a O.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we're listening to Americans know how to spell. Come on, guys. Y'all don't even know how to spell.
Check. There's a QUE is in Czech. That's how you spell check. You know? So, yeah. All right, let's take some letters.
All right, let's set some letters. If you are sending in a letter, you can send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. If you are a British person sending in a mail, please attach one scone. I'd appreciate it. I mock you, but scones are delicious. So
would you take 1 pence?
I would not take 1 pence. God, I could go for a scone.
Not known for their food, they are.
No, they're not. Every now and then you see a struggle tweet that's like, canned bread is the shit, in front of like a Union Jack, and you're like, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah. Hey, look, not much to say about Chadwick Boseman, except that is the most shocking and shitty news that fucking hit out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Apparently, it was like... There was one website a couple months ago that reported it in like a tabloidy way, but otherwise they kept the news on the down low and they didn't want to really put it out there. And I think he just wanted to keep that to himself. And there's a lot of there's nothing that there is to say that hasn't been already said by people who rightfully pointed out that he filmed all those movies while he was already diagnosed, and you never know what the fuck someone's going through. So keep that in mind, you know, at all times, because people sometimes are just holding things to themselves, and they've got their own struggles that they're going through. That was pretty surprising. And I guess the thing that dawned on me a couple days later was he was also slated to do Yasuke, So,
Seriously?
Yeah, he was supposed to do the
Jesus.
Yasuke movie. So it looks
He
like
did
that.
everybody.
He did fucking everybody. Like Black
He did
Panther
James.
was
He did
absolutely
Jackie.
the most.
He did Black Panther.
That was the most popular. But like, yeah, it's kind of nuts how much he did within that last a couple of years. Like, and it was all through the diagnosis as well. It also, like, people definitely have their everyone goes through things differently, right? Some people like to just some people prefer to keep things as private as possible, and if it's no one's business, it's no one's fucking business. Others handle it in a way to, like, for example, Alex Trebek, who came out and just kind of said, hey, I'm pretty sick, but I still got some work to do, and thankfully he went into remission, so things were okay there. The not saying anything part, where it just kind of comes in and hits, like that's one of those things where I'm like, man, like, that's kind of how it went down with my sister. So it really is like, I mean, there's a difference obviously between what's personal and what is a celebrity. I'm not drawing that type of parallel, but I am saying
No,
that,
but the distinction between the ability to see it coming and not is significant.
massive change to the impact, and
Not to take like a too personal track, but like, let's take me and my dad, right?
yeah,
My dad's old. My dad has had many, many heart attacks. He's got a pacemaker. His organs are in shambles, right? He's been in the hospital, and we've had the talk with the family like a couple times now, right?
Yeah.
So when I eventually get the phone call, I will be somewhat prepared.
Yeah.
Because I've had to deal with it in the past, right? And it is such on a not, I don't want to say non-personal, but like a cultural level, right? With people who are open about their illness, right? Or you're at least aware. But if my dad was the peak of physical health, and then one day, poof, right? Oh my goodness, right? And that is the cultural thing here, where I thought it was the thing that I didn't pay attention, so that's why I didn't know that he had been diagnosed with cancer many years. It's like, no, he had been quiet and private about it.
Yep.
So it's unsurprising that it would be as shocking as, like, say, an accident.
One obscure tabloid and some Instagram photos where people were calling him out on the weight loss, apparently, and just like, deleted or whatever. But in my sister's case, it was completely kept silent. Didn't want any, like, weird calls or weird energy brought into the situation, so it was a similar kind of, like, you're gonna find out when you find out, and I also know that, like, part of that was kind of like as a result of wanting to focus on just, like, the mental state required to get better. So everybody goes through their journeys in their own way, but like, it is absolutely the difference between turning up the pot with the frog in it and just shooting the frog point blank with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, let's take some letters.
Let's take some zany emails.
We got one coming in over here from Quaid, who says, "Hey, Castle Super guys, my brother and I were taking a trip down memory lane watching clips from the 2008 film Speed Racer. While watching, my brother raised the question, did you know there's a better racing movie than Speed Racer? I promptly told him he was full of shit, but then I quickly ate my words when he put on Redline. I can't believe I've never heard of this masterpiece. Have you ever experienced something where you said, where has this been all my life? How have I not known about it? Yeah, definitely. For me, that happens all the time with a lot of games that I'm discovering. But I remember Front Mission 3 just being like, what the fuck, this game is insanely good. And I couldn't believe...
And it was buried at that time. Like, it was long buried by the time you got to it.
That one-off, I can't believe how fucking good it was. And prior to that, my only time seeing Front Mission was... There was a comic shop where my friend he'd make his Gunpla and he'd sell manga and comics. And if you walked in at any random time, the TV on the counter would probably be watching anime or playing Front Mission. So I just knew it in passing form from walking through the shop, you know? And I was like, oh yeah, that's that cool mecha tactical RPG. All right, you know? But I had no idea. And then upon touch, it was like, oh my god, wow, yeah, this thing.
I can't think of anything. The only thing I can think of right now is probably when Paige started playing Dead by Daylight a year or two ago. And I had remembered that we had checked it out. She started it. Yeah, absolutely.
That wasn't you. Oh, okay.
No. She was playing it for like a fucking 6 months, like super hardcore, before I looked over and went, that game looks stupid. And then I was like jealous that she was having so much fun. So I played it myself, but I played Killer instead. And I was like, oh, this is the fun. Killing is the fun part. But we had covered that game back on Shitstorm, back when it was early access. And it was not just rough, but it was all we played was the Survivor. And I fucking hate the Survivor gameplay. So Paige is playing this game all the time, and I'm like, what the fuck? Dead by Daylight sucks. What the hell is going on? And it's been out for years and years and years. And I'm like, oh no, wait, it's awesome. It's actually fantastic. What the fuck? I literally just didn't hit the button to go over to the fun part of the game.
It probably would have still got you when Pyramid Head dropped.
Oh, it would have.
Like, you would have, your curiosity peaked for sure.
But if it had only gotten me when Pyramid Head dropped, then I wouldn't have had so many blood points that I could max out triple prestige PH and earn every perk in the game for him. Pyramid Head is, like, my Pyramid Head is leveled up enough that whenever new killers come out, I can just unlock their perks instantly and add them to him. So, hooray. I like PH a lot. He's a fun character.
What about 14?
What about 14? I don't know if you've been paying attention, but every Sunday night or Monday, I post a screenshot of my level progress as I get every single class to 80.
Yeah, so wouldn't that game count on this list as well?
Well, I actually played that on its, like, no.
You weren't into 11.
14 1.0 was goddamn trash, and then I actually played 14 A Realm Reborn, like, in its beta. I just didn't get super into it. But I realized it was good.
Because I remember when 14 was dropping, and the people I knew that were super into 11 were the most excited.
Yeah. I still hate 11. 11's a weird game for crazy people. So
yeah, then 14 was one of those games for you.
No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? I never... Like, 14 1.0 and 14 2.0 are totally different games. And 14 1.0 is trash. Straight up.
Okay, so you were curious enough when Realm Reborn dropped to go take a look. Okay, all right.
When Realm Reborn came out, I actually played the third closed beta, and then I played it day one. And then I fell off of it because I didn't make any new pals. And then I played it again a couple years later and did make some new pals. And then I've been with it ever since. From April of 2015.
Here's one from Brent from Kansas City. Says, Pat and Wooly, on episode 82, Wooly read out an email that neither of you really reacted to, so that was all fine, but I needed to write in and correct the disingenuousness. Someone wrote in and said that NIS America stole the rights to publish Falcom's game in the West from 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍, and because of this, there's now microtransactions. This is blatantly false. NIS America got the rights because they have more money and resources. They outbid, 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍 was outbid by NIS America for the publishing rights and to give the games a greater marketing budget in the West and fund outsourcing ports to both the Switch and PC for their games. The rights weren't stolen. The emailer also tried to say that they put microtransactions in themselves, microtransactions in the games when Falcom themselves are the ones that did it, and they're doing it with Cold Steel 1 and 2, which were published by 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍, had costumes and items and so on. So, correction to the correction. I understand not liking a publisher, but Falcom fans going around and blatantly lying about this stuff doesn't help. Nissa has been getting better with their Falcom releases and even had 𝙳𝚘𝚕𝚍 go back and complete the fix of Ys 8 recently. Thanks for reading.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Dear Table Lord Wooly and Pat a Table, being wrong changes everything. The spouse and I watched the Table Lord's Betrayal at House on the Hill, had a great time. It was fun, but I found it funny that not all the rules were well known, so how the game played out was hugely different than it could have been. Everyone had fun, but are there any rules that you ignore or change in a game personally to maximize fun?
I think Monopoly is the worst anti-version of this. Nobody plays Monopoly by its actual rules.
House rules everywhere.
Yeah. And Monopoly sucks on house rules. You have to play with the real rules.
The first example that often comes to mind is consumables in a character action game. That feels
what are those?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't know what the animation looks like.
I don't know what I don't know what a holy water looks like.
Or the rocket ship in 101. Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know what that is.
Still self-imposed rules that just become the norm, 100%. And in a lot of cases, with fighting games at least, I don't know the ins and outs of how the stylish mode works. You know, sometimes there'll be one of those in, and like I discovered how it worked when I was in Japan and I sat at an Exerd machine and accidentally picked it because I couldn't tell the language difference between the two.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, fuck. And then like the guy I was playing against just kind of got up and walked away. I was like, well, sorry.
Oh, no.
And
that's
last...
so sad.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Lastly, Josh says, Dear Wooly and Pat, I was in a weird class called Undergrad in Game Studies, and it ended up writing about all the different ways games approach the self. 2 ways scholars describe this as either playing a character or an avatar. Characters when you're given an identity to occupy in the game, separate from your own, like The Last of Us. An avatar is when you're meant to place your own identity in the game's world, like Minecraft. I pitched the idea that a game can bridge the two, where you're able to build your own character's identity so that it aligns with your own. Something I found in my playthrough of Life is Strange, for example. What do you think? Is one method better than the other? Is that universal across genres? Sincerely, Josh.
This is known as I was talking about last week as dude versus guy.
Alternatively,
dude being
silent protagonist versus real person.
Yeah, dude being the avatar and guy being the character. I think I tend towards character. I really like the way Mass Effect 1 and 2 did it, where you're playing a character, but you're influencing a range of possibilities, but that would be consistent for that character, right? So in Mass Effect 1, Shepard's a career soldier. Commander Shepard is a career soldier, right? So you have the renegade and the renegade and the, what do you call it? Paragon options are a range of reasonable possibilities between that character's, reactions. The pure avatar, unless it's written extremely well and has just a million lines of dialogue, I don't usually care for. So like the nameless one in Torment, yeah, okay, that's a good avatar. And stuff like that with RPGs where you can just determine millions of things about your character. I think probably the best one that I've seen is the attempt to split the difference, which is the Courier in New Vegas, in which it is 100% player controlled. Every single thing that you do and say and think and believe and everything. And then in the final piece of DLC, once you've completely done everything that you could possibly do in the Mojave Desert, you go to a new area in which they describe events that took place before the start of the game. And the events are rock solid, right? Like it's the courier went here and delivered this, yada, yada, right? But you are given the ability to choose the reasons why you did these. And then that informs the overall backstory of your character before they became an avatar. And it's really, really good and satisfying.
Yep.
It's the only one I can think of that totally nails it.
Revan and the Exile.
They're great.
Are great. Splitting the difference reminds me of D&D campaigns where on pen and paper, you're going to sit down and you're going to behave as you would in the shoes of this person from this race, from this setting, from this civilization, whatever the case may be. Personally, I absolutely lean towards the existing character. And I do that because for the longest while in video games as a medium, the tradition has been to do the avatar instead.
Yeah, silent protagonist is a little dull to me.
But it's a legacy of technology, right? If you're playing a video game where all you're going to do is jump on platforms to make it to the end of the stage, that's an avatar by default, not for lack of a narrative, but because it was what the technology could do at the time.
Yeah,
and if there was a booklet,
the most
story,
you're going to get is a paisanos. It's time for the super show.
Yeah, if there's a booklet telling you the story, it's not going to give you the moment-to-moment personality of the character, I mean, shit, like Sonic the Hedgehog was that until the games could bring out a personality, but you could see him being impatient and being like, what the fuck, let's go, let's hurry, you can see a lot of that. So I definitely want characters to behave like people, and I prefer those games more because I also think they tell more natural stories. I think it's very hard for any other medium to insert a self-insert, a Mary Sue or a template character, silent protagonist, whatever you want to call it, into their story and not have it come across as extremely weird or just shitty storytelling.
Yeah, so like take New Vegas again. Like if you choose, you have the ability to play your character, and many people accidentally do this. Play their character as if they're a total crazy person because they have wildly inconsistent morals and just do whatever based on whatever, right? So I usually tend to like a more not guided or not even narrow, but it's like I want like a nudge in a direction that I can move in a 90-degree angle down the path. Like I want to be able to go left and right, but I don't want to be able to go behind. If that makes any sense. Cole Phelps, people are saying. Cole Phelps is a perfect example.
Cole Phelps
is a very well-defined character.
I was going to say Cole Phelps. No, sorry. Cole Phelps, sorry. I was going to say Bigby. Lee.
Yeah.
Right? These are people where you're like, oh, if I was playing anyone else in the cast, I know what you would be like. I understand you.
Yes, absolutely.
From another camera perspective, from another point of view, I still understand your character. That to me is more interesting.
Like, despite the astronomical amount of dialogue choices you can make in The Witcher that range every emotional state and like moral view possible. Geralt couldn't be more well defined by the end of that, and what Geralt's into and what Geralt thinks is bullshit and what have you.
Yeah, it tells a more interesting story in almost every circumstance, unless you've written the game to play with that element of the story as a plot point, which many games do. See Bioshock, see FF7, see anything where you need the main character to be quiet for a reason, you know?
Or the character you wrote sucks.
Undertale, that's another one. Yeah,
that's the problem. Where like I love a good character that I have some agency over, unless they suck. At which point I'll take the avatar, please.
Now, at the same time, if the goal is a visual novel where you're supposed to just go and date some people in the harem, then like your character's existing.
You can have no face and a transparent penis with an X-ray vision.
Any version of your character being a real person gets in the way of your boner. So that's a no-no. Yeah. That's just disruptive. I'm trying to be that role. I don't want anything.
I don't want to see your dick. I want the phantom dick so that I can pretend it's my penis.
I need to load my JPEG into the texture engine and stretch it over a fucking face model like Perfect Dark. And what happens when you take that video game habit and put it into other mediums is Bella from Twilight.
Oh man, that's the last character I thought I'd be talking to you about today. Holy shit.
That's what happens when it leaves the video game format and becomes something else. All right. That'll do her.
Oh, we have a sudden guest on the podcast. Snorting.
He's chewing.
He's snorting and
Gonna
chewing.
fuck up your pop filter, though.
That's fine. He smells really nice, actually. He does. He smells nice.
Yeah. Where can the people see more?
You can see more of this nice-smelling dog over at twitch.tv/PetStaresAt. And also twitch.tv/PeachSaliva.
There you go. And, yeah. I'll be over at Woolly Versus on YouTube and Twitch. Everybody.
Y'all have a good week.
Take care.